This
What's up?
high
What's
school
up, guys?
context.
Welcome to the Shacknews Twitch channel. Today is February the 14th, Valentine's Day 2022. It is episode 119 of the wide world of electronic sports. As you can already see, we have a very, very special episode today. So I'm going to kick it over to our host, Phil, Rod, Brian. Tell me what's going on in the world of electronic sports.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, it is another Monday. It's another wide world of electronic sports, and it is a huge episode today because we have not only two amazing guests, and we're doing it back to back, two back to back interviews. This week, we have another person who probably needs no introduction, one of the most controversial personalities in the Smash Brothers scene, Technicals himself. And of course, I'm always joined by my two hosts, Rodney Conyers Jr. and Phil
Yo,
Visu. How you guys doing
what's
today?
up? I'm
Wait,
big chillin'.
wait, I will say this. Wait, Tech, you don't consider yourself part of the Smash community.
No.
You just try and make it burn. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, I would consider myself more like a troll. I hardly play the game. I only go to events every once in a while to like see some of my old friends that I knew.
Right.
But yeah, I don't like actively participate in the community. No.
Glad to have that clarification. And of course, can't go forward without introducing our other guest, Asif Khan. Thank you so much for being here today as well. We have a lot to talk about. Everyone's excited to talk to Technicals about.
I'm not as much a guest as I am the guy who
No,
created the show and
exactly.
owns the website and stuff. But
Yes.
yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
so let's just get into it. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to ask. Asif, I'm going to let you take it away since I know you've been excited to have Tech on the show.
Sure. We were talking about guests going into February with Rod and E and them, and we actually put it out on social and asked our viewers and asked our community, hey, who would you like to see on the show? I would say the most replied and most liked comment was, I think, you replying yourself.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you here, Technicals. And like I said before we went live, appreciate you taking out the time to chat with us.
No problem,
And I know that they kind of introduced you as not really a member of the Smash community, but you certainly talk about things that are tangential to the Smash scene.
Yeah.
Namely things that popped off in 2020, at least when it came to accusations. Obviously, some of those things happened in the past. So a lot of your video content, I wouldn't say all of it, but a lot of your video content kind of centers around controversies and maybe seemingly not controversial things according to the Smash scene, where a lot of people just assume, okay, accusation made, this person is guilty. I really think that you've done a service to the community, even if you don't consider yourself part of it, in providing a look at both sides of the argument and giving a voice to people who were largely, and I don't want to single out individuals that you've talked about on your channel, but like a lot of these people had been silent up until the point where you either reached out to them or you made content about them. Just my first question is, how do you determine, I know you call them cases and you have like your technical, it looks like a detective. How do you determine which case is going to make it to your channel? Like, is there a threshold for evidence that you receive, or how do you determine that?
Yeah, so, like, I have had multiple other people reach out to me, and I never covered those because there's no discernible, like, okay, that like, if it's simply just a he said, she said, why even muddy the waters by getting involved? But if there's information that's been ignored in the broader scope of the accusations, then I think that that's worth taking a look at, like in the case of Anti or Sky. I feel like Sky was he's probably the single most, I think he got it the worst out of anyone that I talked about, in terms of actual like culpability, like what he was guilty for. He kind of got labeled as like the Epstein of Smash, and once that happens, that's a pretty bad label. So
You're talking about Sky Williams?
yeah, Sky Williams.
The house, and I
Mhm.
think your video kind of dives deep into problems of gamer houses in general.
Yeah,
A person can own a house and have rules, but those people inside the house could break those rules, and that person may not even know what's popping off at any given time. I think your video, it's an extremely long video, but I think you really highlight that fact that he may still be partially responsible for things that happened at his house, but it doesn't mean that he knew and signed off on those things. I think that
Yeah.
intricacy was something that was missed on a lot of people on social media, that you really spend a lot of time in that case really kind of hammering down.
'Cause I know how the Smash community kinda is, so I'm not gonna, like, sit here and fault one person for, a whole issue that's, like, community-wide with, like, enabling like, this is something that everyone needs to address, so I don't feel like anyone can just, like, sit on a podium and speak like they're better than Sky Williams, because everyone is at fault for, like, the underage drinking and not checking and stuff like that. Um, so I feel like you should be critical of Sky Williams for that and his involvement in that, but don't make it seem like it's just his fault. I don't think
Mhm.
that's fair at all.
And then yeah, when it comes to like evidence, and backing some of the statements you make or backing some of the defense of these people, uh, how much research are you doing? Are you talking to lawyers? Like, what kind of knowledge do you have of the legal system? Because a lot of what you talk about does boil down to like states' laws about
Yeah,
statutory rape or states' laws against, sending of information digitally, images or whatever. Where are you getting that research from? Are you doing it yourself? Do you have people you consult for that?
well, because of a conversation that I had with one of them, I don't wanna, like, say that they, like, specifically signed off or anything. They might have given me, like, a little bit of advice on certain topics. But yeah, a lot of the research is on my own, but I have talked to people who would have a little bit more knowledge on the subject, specifically for, like, the Zero case, since a lawsuit is involved.
Hmm.
Um, I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't be, shooting myself in the foot being involved with it if I am going to, be involved in, like, a legal aspect of the case beyond just
Yeah,
using
and
video.
I'm glad you brought that up. Like, there's multiple cases that the technical cases that you talk about that are actually court cases still, and they're still in various courts, or they're
It
settlements
I
that are about to happen.
it's just the Zero one, and it's a
Okay,
defamation suit, yeah.
Question
okay,
about that.
not in the case of Nairo though. That's done.
Well, Nairo is like, that's just he signed an NDA, and it's kind of like it's just dead in the water. There's nothing going
Okay,
on with it.
Wait,
okay.
I have a question about the like the zero thing you mentioned, or just in general, really. So like,
Yeah.
does what affect like? Because I assume like this shit is like recorded and like you cut a lot of or trim a lot of the fat. Is anything that you like cut out or like left on the cutting room floor? Is that because like it's not either strong enough or because like legal ramifications? Has that ever been like a concern for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like, things that would have, like, any legal repercussions saying certain things, or if it's not, like, relevant and it doesn't pertain to, like, the point I'm making, I'll just cut it. That's like in any, video that you make that's as long as mine, because the original footage would probably be somewhere around, like, 3 hours or something, and then I get
Oh
it down to,
damn.
like, 50 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that project took me 6 months to research and finish and, like, make sure all the info is correct.
I kind of have like a broader question. I'm just curious what your opinion is on this. I'm not really stating anything here, and if you're uncomfortable answering it, I'm fine with it. There's a refrain when it comes to accusations like the ones that you address a lot of the time, in the Smash scene or elsewhere. Believe all victims. Do you feel that mantra has led to some of these scenarios where the community may just jump to conclusions and believe accusations before actually even letting the other person speak?
What annoys me is because I don't even disagree with the sentiment. I feel like the sentiment, became a little bit more extreme. Instead of believing victims, like, believing victims, in that sentence, you need to have a victim. So,
Yeah,
how do you have a victim? You have to prove that they were done wrong, like, something was done wrong to them. You need to first prove that they're a victim before you just start, like, just believing it. You shouldn't just believe things just because someone said it. That's totally irrational, and that
yeah.
if that was how we ran the legal system, a lot of people would be just thrown in jail, they would be wrongly accused and thrown in jail, and we've seen cases of that happening, but it would be on a much wider scale if that was applied, with a
Mhm.
broader scope.
No, I tend to agree. I think it's a delicate line. I think you're right to point out that even that sentence, "believe all victims," implies that that person is a victim, whereas it's not real. I guess believe all accusers is also a refrain sometimes.
Yeah, that's essentially what it boils down to is believe all accusers because you're not involved in the situation. You don't have the information on both sides. So to just simply say this person's a victim and this person's a perpetrator is kind of it's very negligent. And I try not to do that. I try to always wait for the other side because you're not involved and you never know.
Mhm. You know, I another question I had is your videos, they tend to have humor in them. Like you inject the most recent one you did in January where it was like about the community and how overreactions occur and stuff. You did this like man on the street bit where you
Yeah.
were like walking around the strip in Vegas acting like a news reporter,
Yeah.
asking people about the age of consent basically. Um
Yeah.
you talk about some real shit in your videos, man, and you somehow inject humor. How do you balance that? Are there times where you have a great idea for a sketch and you're like, "Nah, not this time?" Or are you always looking for a way to kind of inject your humor into these videos? Cuz it does like as a viewer, it does a good job of breaking up the pace of your videos when you do stuff like that. But I'm curious how you balance that to maintain a good messaging while still kind of entertaining your viewer.
Yeah, I was never really a serious kind of investigator guy like Nexpo or like Mama Max. That's never been my goal. My goal has always been to entertain and like make people laugh. But I kind of fell into a situation where everyone was looking to me to cover these stories. After I did the Captain Zach one, I'm getting people begging me to do the next one and then the next one. And obviously, it's doing well for my channel. Like I said this in one of the videos, so I'm gonna keep doing it. But I'll do it my way. And whenever you're talking about serious stuff it's a lot easier to absorb the information if you're not just like feeling grossed out and like depressed the whole time. You need those kind of comedic reliefs. So you're not like depressed at the end of it, but you did absorb all the information, and that's
Mhm.
that's the most important part.
Yeah, I think you really do a great job of balancing those two things because it's comedy is dangerous in 2022.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially with the topics that you're talking about, you can really offend people if you push the wrong button. But when you ask Mickey Mouse what the age of consent is, like that's just solid comedy there.
I think I asked him if he was a pedophile.
You straight up
Yeah,
asked Mickey
yeah.
Mouse if he was a
It,
pedophile.
so is there like is there okay, are there any like how do I, is there anything on like that you would produce or put content for that's just completely like off the table, like you just would not touch, or is like everything fair game? Like just for
Only
like the sake of like, you know what I'm saying, like humor or whatever.
I talk about anything. It's just it's within the bounds of like TOS. Like if something will get me taken off the platform, I try to definitely avoid that. But I've been towing the line for a minute now, and it seems like you can pretty much do whatever you want as long as it's in good taste and like good
Mhm,
fun. Like no just like straight animal abuse and stuff like that, obviously, or like promoting like
Right,
violence
right.
against people. Yeah.
mhm.
But yeah,
And,
in the I like, shock value humor and, like, just edgy humor, obviously, but I like to throw in just, regular jokes and, like, set up punchlines and stuff like that
You
too.
know that's how they took out Leafy, man. Do you ever worry about going too far and then ended up like that? Because like I
Well,
actually was, you know what I
Leafy
mean?
made, like, 10 videos milking Pokimane and, like, making fun of
Or
her appearance and stuff like that. Whenever I do something like that, I do it very sly. I'll, like, change my language in the leading up sentence to talk about the person, or, it won't be, like, a direct thing. It's very meticulous how I do it so I
you
can.
also use different voices sometimes in your videos, so it's like
Yeah, yeah,
that
I
that
do.
technicals tell me what to think. That guy. So it's not really
Yeah,
you saying it.
because it adds, like, depth to the content, like, you're shifting it up, and, it's something I'm also good at, so I want that to, like, shine through on my content.
that's
Oh my
so crazy.
Wow.
That's wild how you could just jump into that. But yeah, I do think that that kind of lends to that satirical standpoint, where it's like a character. Like I felt like when I was watching you on this Vegas Strip, that was a character. You were wearing a suit, like your hair
It
was
was
different. Or whatever.
yeah. You know how hard it is to go up to people? Some of the people I went up to, I just straight up told I was trying to get them to be uncomfortable first off, so I could get a better reaction. So some of the people this will be in the outtakes on, like, my Patreon and for members. I just told them I was a sex offender, and they didn't do anything, like, they didn't even respond. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a sex offender, I'm asking this question as, like, a PSA for, like, community service." Um, I was kinda worried, like, the first couple I did, and then I, like, shook it off, and I was like, "Okay, I'm good." And it was so good the first day, I had to go back for round 2.
Mhm. So
Holy
outside
shit.
of just the people on the street in Vegas, these smashers that you've made videos about, or in the case of a couple of them, you've straight up interviewed as part of your videos.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Why do you think they trust you?
'Cause I'm
Outside
base.
of the videos you've made, like maybe even before that, like
Um,
why do you think you have become a trusted resource for some of these people?
I don't know. I kind of like started off as a troll, but I think a lot of people see that I look at both sides and like I don't really care what people think. So
Mhm.
when you're in a situation where you feel like no one cares and one person seems like they might care, it's kind of easy to extend that hand or that olive branch and kind of, get the conversation you're looking for on a more honest level.
And like, how many cases are there just sitting on your board? Like, do you have like, have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Charlie's in the
Yeah,
mailroom?
he's got
He's got
the.
that Pepe Sylvia board. Do you have one of those? And how many cases would you say like
I
are
should make one.
still like on the like still potentially out there for you?
Well, obviously from the ending statement where I made like this grand statement in the Nairo video, that's still like a thing. I still have some stuff in the background working on that one, but there's a few that are just dead in the water that I'm not even gonna work on.
Mhm.
There's a possibility that it might come up in the future, but I'm retiring the detective thing for a little bit because
Okay.
even after the ESAM video, I was trying to completely distance myself and do my own thing. But then I came back because I was like, "Oh, this is an easy dub, so why not?"
Mhm. Are there
So where do
dudes?
you? Well, hold on, hold on. Where
Sorry.
do?
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead, you.
if you're doing the like retiring detective tech for a little bit, like, well, what other like content do you want to do? Like, where do you just go like straight comedy, like more of that interviewing people on the strip kind of bit? Like, where do you go from here? Because obviously, like that. I mean, it help put your channel on the map. Let's be honest. I don't think that's a bad thing. Because
Yeah.
everybody like gets a spark from something you never freaking know. But like, where do you like pivot to like to still keep people like super interested and stuff?
Well, it's stuff like the ESAM video. The ESAM video was never like a really hard detective video. It was just kind of like, well, this guy kind of sucks. Like 600K views, stuff like that.
Right.
Also rant
I mean, go
content, skip
boxing ring. It
comedy.
sells itself, Tech.
I
Like, go
hear that.
boxing ring.
I hear that every day now. It's still a thing. I'm tired of it.
Good.
I we
Good.
we had we had like a $5,000 charity event that we could have set up, and he said no on 2 different occasions. That would have been so cool. I'm really upset that he said
Well,
no to
there's
that.
your next video. Why does ESAM hate charity?
He's
All right, come on, guys.
Why would you put that in my head?
I'm
Poor
sorry,
Issa.
Tech. We should have never met.
He's he's why Esam hates charity. You should be a YouTuber. That's a great clickbait title.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, like I was gonna ask before you jumped in there. Are there some cases that you've like picked up because there was a raft? There was a ton in June, July, August 2020. Were there some cases that you're like, okay, I'm gonna look at this, and you're like, oh, that guy did that? Like, are there people out there where you
Yeah. Yeah,
instantly
Keitaro.
bounced off?
Yeah,
Oh
Keitaro.
shit! I
I
don't
was
want to say any names, but yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
"Whoa." I was like, "Okay." I looked at it for 2 seconds. I was like, "He did that." I even said that in the Sky House video, I think. I was like, "Yeah, he did that."
Mhm.
And that's one that kinda hit me too, because I met him at, I think it was Prime Saga, and we were talking about collabing in the future because I was also a big fan of well, I'm still a big fan of Sylvanas.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was kind of
Yes,
a
honestly,
lost
great.
yeah, it was a lost opportunity.
Yeah, no, let's just say I'm not surprised to hear that name because the day before those accusations came out, we had a stream with that person, and they were hammered on our
Really?
stream, uh, like
Wow.
out of their mind. I was legit worried about the person because at the
Yeah.
time, obviously, we didn't know what was going on. But then, yeah, the next day, boom. So yeah, I figured as much, but I was just curious, like if there were some moments where you kind of put your head down, you looked at it, you're like, oh, there's nothing here. That's just open and shut. And it sounds like that is the case for
It's
some of
pretty,
these people.
yeah, pretty open and shut case there. There's not a
Mhm.
lot of nuance. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how you could yeah, I don't wanna talk about the specifics of it, but yeah.
Oh no. No, like I said, I didn't even want to bring up an individual at all, but I just think just for the purpose of understanding your process, I
Mhm.
thought that was like a logical conclusion that there was
Well,
probably some people out there.
it kinda snowballed. Like, I did the Captain Zack one just because I felt like it, just because I was like, "This dude is a liar." So I just made the video because I was like, well, this is kinda open and shut, pretty obvious. I'm not sure why it's so confusing for some people." who are like, "Yeah, unban Captain Zach," and I was like, "No, no, 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 chill on that for a second." But after I did that, I think, what did I do after that? Did I do the anti one? I think I did the
I
anti
think
one
so.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once people saw me do that, I got a DM from Sky Williams, and that was probably the most depressing conversation I've ever had. So I told him, I was like, "Dude, don't do anything rash. Don't I promise you, like, just give me time to work on this, and I can make something happen because you were wronged here, and I wanna see justice, you know, run
Yeah, I
its
think he
course."
came back to like streaming like semi consistently. He started posting on socials lightly again. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like, is the impact that you want these videos to have, like, are you getting the results you're wanting? Like, people feeling comfortable to like reemerge in some cases, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I even met Sky at VidCon. We all went to his house, and then he came out and did karaoke with us, and he was talking about how he kind of remembered how it felt to be around other people, and he started getting inspired to make, like, more content and stuff, so that's what I like to see. I wanna see that. I don't wanna see, like, the fall of Sky Williams or something like that. I don't wanna report on something tragic that might happen in the future. So regardless of what people might, like, call me, I'd much rather have that conversation than, a much darker one.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't want to bring up individuals, but in the case of Zero, this is a very well known story that he almost killed himself. And I think based on your video, I would hope that some people have a different feeling about him now than they might have beforehand. So I think you're helping people maybe come to grips with some of these things. And I think in the case of the Zero story, it's there's like levels to this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just guy did thing equals this guy pedophile. There's guy did thing, probably not the right thing to do, not really out there raping someone. And I think
Yeah,
like that's the
that's the issue I have with, like, online discourse. It's like, yes, we can all look at what he did and all understand this is objectively wrong. If you still want him out of these spaces, totally
Mhm.
fine with him being banned from, like, Smash. Totally makes sense. No problem with that at all. Um, I'm not YouTube, so I'm not gonna kick him off his platform. I personally don't think he's gonna misuse his platform. That's my opinion. And if people choose to not support him or still dislike him, like, that's fine. I think that's perfectly fine.
Mhm. No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's basically all I had for you, man. I was just obviously I've been watching your content for a little bit here, and I was just kind of curious some of the thoughts you put behind it. And EE's kind of asked you where you're going in the future. Are we? Is it possible that we're just gonna get some straight up comedy, like just
That's always been my thing. That's always my goal. It's just
so like
straight up comedy.
you and your buddy in the fursuit, maybe some shaving cream out in the desert?
I think, for this next one, I'm dressing up. I have an inflatable Patrick, costume, and I was gonna have SpongeBob out in the backyard burning something with me. I gotta film that maybe today or tomorrow.
Nice.
But yeah, that's for the next video. I'm calling it Black Unboxing. I got people sending me stuff to my PO box.
Nice.
Okay, so fair question here, right? Because I
Yeah.
think just like in general, like the space can be filled with some, rather eccentric people, right? So have like you said you went to VidCon stuff like that. Like I'm assuming you might be popping up at Level Up Expo in a couple weeks. I know
Isn't
it's
that
happening in Vegas.
Yeah, that's in Vegas.
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
That's in a couple weeks. I still need to get my ticket.
Well, there you go. Pull
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Do you ever worry about like anyone just like running up on you? I mean, like, is that like ever a concern for you?
No, they're all pussy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, ESAM's like, what, 6 foot? He wouldn't even box me. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's for him. So I just mean like some random fan, like you're talking about my favorite creator, like I'm gonna take this into my own hands, you know?
I
But
mean, yeah,
like
for sure,
it's
that's definitely, like, a concern, I imagine, but I don't think, they do anything, is the thing.
I think people are they're really strong and bold when they're hiding behind the anonymity of a Twitch account or a YouTube account on their keyboard. But when you meet them face to face and you look into their eyes, it's a little different story.
Let me put it this way, I don't think a lot of strong, self-confident men have a problem with the content that I make. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
That's very well put.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
like Brock Lesnar isn't rolling up on you and like, "Hey, I saw that Zero video, brother."
What are
So,
you doing?
I,
Really,
I
Nairo?
I did
I
have
mean
one question for you about the content that you're making. In your videos, you've mentioned how you think that pretty much anyone is redeemable. And
Well,
first of all, well, not all, not well, okay, not maybe not anyone, but
yeah.
how that I mean, at least I agree with you that people should seek redemption or be try to better themselves. I just wanted to ask, is that something do you think that we're seeing coming out of all of this in the Smash community, or do you think that's something we need more of?
I think so, and I think that's more like a genuine version of myself because I had more of like a Baptist like upbringing, where I don't believe people are just like innately evil, and I also don't believe in this whole black and white narrative where this person did bad thing, therefore they're a bad person. Which is also why I've kind of gotten out of the habit of seeing people talk crap about someone and then just automatically like believing what they're saying, like, oh, this is a bad person. Because I've had that happen to me. And then people talk to me and they're like, oh, wow, dude, you're not as bad as I thought. Like, yeah, I'm not Satan, dude. I just like I like a little goof. I like to make jokes and I just like to talk about serious situations every once in a while. So
Well, awesome.
You,
I think you're
you
doing a
know,
great job at it.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
a question. Just I know you consider yourself not really part of the Smash scene, but you've obviously done a lot of research on what's happened there.
Hold on.
Um, uh, what do you got there?
Let me see. I got proof. I got proof of my status.
Is this like a trophy?
I hope it's an actual Pikachu that's been taxidermied.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
These
nice.
you picked these up at an event. He
What
knows
the
what I'm talking about.
Oh my god, is that a Spiff
Wait a
Space?
minute, is that
Yeah,
that's a spiff?
You nut.
you know what it is.
You're out of control.
That's actually OD foil. That's actually a
So
classic. That's kind of like an
that,
OG
that's
hit at
rare.
this point, right? That's like Smash
Yeah,
4
I've been
early
around for a
days.
minute.
So
Yeah.
do you? I know you're just kind of watching from afar now, though. Like you're not going to events or anything, but I don't know if you pay attention to the scene when there was in-person events last year
I'm
or
always
earlier this year.
watching. I'm omnipotent.
Do you think that the
Everything.
community has made enough changes to prevent this from happening again, or
Well,
these things from happening again?
one thing that I've personally noticed is a lot of people aren't as afraid to like speak their piece when it comes to some of these situations because of just how much damage 2020 did. People are more like, you know what? No, I am gonna speak my piece. This is kind of stupid. Or let's wait. Damn, like put down the
Yeah, that's
pitchfork for
definitely a thing
2 seconds.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
So
I don't need.
that's a change from 2020 or 2019 to now.
Yeah, for sure. I don't
That's
need
good.
credit for that. I just think it's cool to see. That was always my goal when I first made my channel because no one listened to me when I was complaining about this guy JK that almost hit me with his car, and I felt like no one really cared. Like I got assaulted at an event, and the guy got a warning, and I got a warning. I was like, I just got assaulted. Like, can you ban this guy? He just tackled me into a wall for like talking trash over the game.
Yeah,
So
I remember JK was he was a different fellow. He was a different type of guy for sure.
and that's another issue. It's like he had access to all kinds of drugs, and that was not helpful at all. And that's an issue that permeates throughout the Smash community that I want to address in the future.
Yeah, there is a
Yeah,
lot of
drugs
drug
Think there's
and
a lot of drug addicts. What kind of drugs you talking about? I smoke
yeah,
weed.
Like
drugs and
LSD.
alcohol.
I think he had cocaine at one party.
Oh dang. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to go into names, but yeah. A lot of people were taking like LSD because they're like, oh yeah, whenever I take it, I don't know, I just think up these new strings, these like new combos. Like my mind expands. I'm like, dude, why don't you just hit the lab? Why don't you just like practice?
You guys tripping balls. You looked at your controller; it's like melting in your hands.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I can see it. Ah, I see the line, the silver lining.
I've heard of Adderall in esports, but acid—that's
Yeah,
a new one, Tech.
at least take Adderall. At
Yeah,
least take Adderall.
that's interesting. But like for me, it's underage drinking. That seems to be at the core of a lot of these stories. That some that you haven't covered yet, or maybe you never will. But even some of the ones that you have,
I covered that
underage
in the
drinking.
I covered that in the anti case. I said he was still guilty for enabling that, and I think Sky Williams is also definitely guilty for enabling that in those environments.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will say that since coming back to offline, with everybody getting canceled and all that type of stuff happening online, it gave us a lot of time for self-reflection and kind of like you talked about, we all kind of played a role in it, but what type of role did I play in it? It's kind of like bullying. Like just because I wasn't the one physically bullying this person, I still stay quiet, I still stay complicit, which means I'm still a part of it somehow. But I will say that I've noticed that people have been cracking down pretty hard on the underage drinking. Like I've seen it called out a handful of times between like God, what was whatever the first tournament was back for everybody, like up until whatever the most recent one was. Like I've seen people say, yo, like look old enough to be drinking. Like, let me see your ID, or like, hey,
I'm I'm
just
really happy to hear
checking
that.
IDs now. Yeah, I like
And,
that a
like,
lot.
that's part of the reason, like, I'm trying very hard to be, like, reasonable and not be, like, upset about every single person because I know that mentality. It's like you're kind of an onlooker, but, like, yeah, you could do something to make it better, and it's not very productive to just attack every single person. I did get a little bit pissed off with the Nairo stuff because I personally felt like I was responsible for a hashtag that I didn't believe in, because of the Captain Zach video, so I did an equal amount of effort to try to dispel whatever involvement I had in something I didn't stand behind, and that's why I went that hard.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like there have been some improvements in the Smash scene just in time for COVID to come back and ruin everything again.
I heard they
Uh,
lifted the
No one
mask
cares
mandate for
about COVID anymore. Look, can we keep it
man, I
real?
do. That shit
Like, no,
fucked me up,
I'm
E.
talking about like in places that want to have events. Like, I went to the Super Bowl, okay,
Yeah.
and they were like, it's clearly states you must show proof of vaccination, okay, and you must always have a mask on. I went through 3 or 4 different checkpoints to get into the actual SoFi arena. Nobody one time asked for proof of vaccination. Not one time. None of us. Oh, I was with a large group. We was deep. And
yeah.
no one got you know what I'm saying? People were
That's
walking, no
supposed to
one
make
had
us more
masks.
confident?
No, I'm
Yeah, I
just
mean,
saying no
I
one no
I
one
can
That
see
cares,
it.
is what I'm
sounds
I can
saying.
pretty
see it. I can see
wacky.
it at that level. But like, as somebody who's had it too, because I had it like after, God, what was it, after World Tour? So like after we left Florida and we came back and there wasn't anything for a while. The flu-like symptoms are the flu-like symptoms. We've all had that once or twice before in our life, but it's the long-term effects. And I won't go into like detail on like what I'm going through, but like the long-term effects are pretty fucking wild. And
Yeah,
like,
I'm not saying
yeah,
that you
yeah,
shouldn't care. Like I
no,
still
no,
care.
yeah,
I wore
I know
my
that.
mask. I'm
You
vaccinated and
said
boosted.
Yeah,
no one
But I'm
100%.
cared.
saying a
Yeah.
lot. I'm saying like
You should
not no one,
rephrase what
man.
you said then. You
Okay,
said no one cared.
a lot of people don't care, obviously, based on some of the rules and regulations that aren't actually enforced. Vegas has lifted their mask mandate, as Tech was getting at. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like a lot of people are just like over it. Like, it's just a
It's
reality you have to face.
Yeah,
It's been, like, 2
it's
years.
too hard to police these days. Like,
You just have
the
to
world
face
has
it.
to open up, people gotta sell tickets to shit. I get it. But
Yeah,
It's
because
just crazy.
when I went to the Jake Paul event in Florida, like, they had the signs where it's like, "You need to wear a mask," and, like, no one wore a mask. Like, no one's checking me on it either, so I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess this is kind of the vibe."
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Meanwhile, like, smoking weed is illegal. I was like, "That's kinda weird." Like, they don't care about masks, but it's illegal to smoke. It's
Yep,
weird.
that's Florida and
Yeah, we'll
Texas
ask
and a
her.
lot
You
of
can
states.
throw live alligators through the Wendy's drive-through window there.
I'm not sure that's legal.
Well, I would
I'm sure
trust
there's
you
no
over
law
that.
against it.
I'm sure Tech will do his research and get back to
Yeah,
us
I'm
on
gonna
if
have
you
to
can
get
throw
back to you on that.
alligators through drive-through windows.
Yeah.
There's someone in the chat asked an interesting question, Tech, and I'm curious what you have to say about this.
Go
Do
for
you
it.
think people like Technicals should just make their own community where
Who,
illegal
black
shit
people?
isn't tolerated? I'm not sure what kind of community he's talking about there, Tech. But...
What? Illegal shit isn't
It's still
tolerated.
February. You
Oh,
mean
okay.
like America? You mean like the world? What
I
does
don't know.
that
Maybe
mean?
just start in Nevada and then go
It's
from there.
yeah, it's illegal for a reason. It's already not tolerated by the law. I don't know what that question means.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either, because like I guess you would be like the Technicals World Tour, and
Yeah.
it would be like a whole new Smash community built around different philosophy or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
It seems like a
let's
lot of
make a
work.
let's make a cult of law-abiding citizens. Let's do that. Let's do the law-abiding citizens.
That
Everyone
would
well,
else
be
I've
can do
fun.
whatever they want.
and I have a question. So where does the church pastor thing come from? Because like we seen that in your bio, and I was like, we'll just use that for the marketing. Like I think people get a kick out of it. But then I sat and I thought, I was like, Technicals is a pretty well-rounded dude. What if he actually is a church pastor? Like, what is going on
I
here?
picked that up. I picked that up from like my Xbox Live days. Because people normally like to take personal information about you and then use it to make fun of you. So I just put a complete lie in my bio. So anytime people want to make fun of me, they're like, "This isn't very pastor-like. Oh, this doesn't seem like what a Christian pastor would do."
So that's
Um,
just a straight up troll.
yeah, it's just me lying.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations, you troll baited Shacknews, I think twice.
It
Heck
worked.
yeah.
Yeah, you got me.
But
Heck yeah.
we just aired on the side of mentioning that you were a pastor. But, like some of your core philosophy of like righteousness and forgiveness and the law. It's not
Yeah,
unlike Jesus. It's not unlike Jesus.
not
My
unlike
old
Jesus at
gamer
all.
tag was, or not gamer tag, Xbox tag was like Bible Camp Victim or something. I think my bio said help in all caps or something like that. I don't remember. So I know about back in the day. Just some
Yeah,
OD,
yeah.
OD
It's just
stuff.
a old, because I'm also a troll. Like, people try to take everything I say seriously. Sometimes I just like messing with people.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not like a 100% serious guy.
Right.
But you do want to box ESAM.
I do. That's not a
Okay.
joke. I would
See, I
box
have
you.
to ask you now because now I'm not. Like, now I just found out you're not a pastor. I'm like, does he really want to fight ESAM? Based on the videos I've seen, it seems like you really wanted to fight him. So
Yeah, yeah, I do.
I think
And
we can make
that's
that happen. $5,000 for charity is nothing to scoff at.
he like contributed to some stuff that like messed with one of my friends, like Freddie Williams, foe in Vegas. So like that, I was upset, and he kept putting my name in his mouth behind a block. So I was like, let's just settle this in a ring. Like,
Mhm.
stop all the talking. Let's just do a fun event that everyone would enjoy, but at the same time we can throw hands.
Got it. It would be entertaining as all hell.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Punks never show up for the fight when you're actually there in the Waffle House parking lot waiting on them.
It's
I should
accurate.
just Frank Hassel like snipe his location.
No, I just show up and I think I'm ready for a fight, and then the other people don't ever show up, and then you just look like an asshole to the
How
people.
many
at
times are you
Waffle
fighting
House.
people in Waffle
There's
House
only been 3
parking
or
lots?
4 times.
All right.
They don't ever show up to fight.
Yeah.
He's got
That's
experience.
that's a good enough sample size.
But on the bright side, if they don't show up, I still can get breakfast.
Yeah, yeah, that's a win-win.
So
Well, I guess
I got another question real quick, Tick. Because you've kind of been at the forefront of fact checking and a lot of things
Yeah,
in
I'm like a
this,
Facebook fact checker. I'm on like the
right?
same level. Yeah.
What do you think the broader games media is doing wrong in covering these stories?
What are they doing wrong?
Or what have
Um,
they gotten
well,
anything right?
it's an issue with like media in general. They like to sensationalize their topics. So they'll take like the worst possible framing of it and then post it for clicks. And then their research is lacking because they did it for the algorithm rather than waiting for the information to come out. So for me, I can just wait a year and then get all the information together and then talk about it. But for them, that doesn't work because they need
What I
to.
think's interesting though is you take a year, and by the time you're making a video about this, it's no longer trending, right?
Oh yeah, I make it
But
trendy because I'm a
but
god.
you make it content compelling enough for it to be viewed. Where
Right.
the media, they're in and out because the news cycle on the internet's like 5 minutes now. So like they're in and out. By the time they're done reporting on that story, you're just now getting started on researching it. And yeah, you're right that misinformation is incentivized, or maybe not misinformation, but
Quick
only one
information.
side of a story is
Yeah.
incentivized because of SEO and Google incentivizing being first.
Well, that's what I hope I'm kind of inspiring is like to show you still can get the views. You don't have to be like all these other channels that are like X person did this or X person exposed. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, you can wait and make a good video and still get tons of views just speaking the truth. And a lot of video essayists can do that properly, or at least leave it open ended and not make like these objective statements about these people. I think Sunny V is a good example of that. I like his content. There's also June the King. He does a very good documentary series about people. So you can make that work. You don't have to be on this like factory assembly line of content, but people fall into it because it's easy and quick.
Mhm. That's a good point. Yeah, I think it's something where your content it definitely differentiates itself from what I would consider mainstream games media and the coverage specifically of the Smash esports scandal of
Dude,
2020.
what
You
if
know,
like you got like hired like what if like just say for instance, because you do a lot of these cases, they get a lot of views, people talk about this shit, right? You even like got shit trending. So what happens like if you like get like hired by like I don't know, like just some like big time real investigative shit. For instance, I bring this up because I want to know, do you believe that you could, well, the way it's going right now, do you think you could like clear Kanye's name? Because that motherfucker's crazy right now, bro. Kanye West. Do you think you could save Ye? Do
Could
you
I
think you
save
could save
Kanye?
Ye?
Could I save Kanye?
Yes, is it too late? He's heading down
Technicals
that
is
OJ
really
Simpson
talented.
path, man. I'm just gonna say it.
Look, he's
Well,
really talented, but come on.
I get why he's so upset. Like, this is his baby mama, like, of his kids, and people are painting him like he's insane. Like, sure, he's eccentric, but what like entertainer isn't?
Mhm.
Um what he's doing is I feel like very entertaining. But at the same time, like he has his grudges. He's a man. Like he's not like this ethereal figure. Um, Save Ye. I would need some time on that. I would need some interviews, some time. I maybe go to Pete Davidson's house, maybe see what Kim Kardashian has for breakfast. I need everything.
You need to embed yourself
Cheeks
Yeah.
and a side
in
of eggs.
in where the hell do they live?
These Armenian
Um,
women's got him all twisted up. It's not his
Malibu?
fault.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't blame Ye particularly. I mean, you know, look, I don't want my kids on social media. Like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like that's a good, you know, like that should be a co-parented thing. And again, I don't know the dynamic, but if we've talked about our kids not being on TikTok and my child is 7 or 8 years old and now they're on TikTok and shit, it's just weird. You know, we're famous as hell. People don't need access like that to our children. And so,
TikTok is mad
yeah,
addictive too. I had to uninstall it. I had it installed for a while for promotional reasons, but
yeah,
you just get caught in a loop, and it's not, I don't feel like that's healthy for kids.
TikTok is brain rot. Like I don't
It's
like I have it and I post like my gaming highlights sometimes, but I don't actually watch TikToks. I have zero interest in it.
its
Um,
recommendation algorithm is better than Facebook's,
It's
even
really good.
Instagram's now.
It's
So
really good.
well, it
it
must be.
learns it pays attention to what you stop on, and it
holy
like
shit.
it's better.
Well, that explains all these thick bitches in my feed, man. I'm like, what in the
Exactly.
world is going on? I like other
Exactly.
things, people.
They're all like, and then they lick their wrist. Yeah, it's great, but that algorithm is scaring Mark Zuckerberg shitless right now because
Yeesh.
they're getting more engagement than any other social
It's
platform.
it's super good for discoverability. Like on TikTok, having 1 million followers is tantamount to having like 50,000 subs on YouTube. It's crazy. And it's the issue is trying to like transfer those follows into more monetizable avenues, like
Right.
into your YouTube and into your streams.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
because I've noticed
appreciate
this.
you, Mr. Beastie. Mr. Beastie Burger in the chat says Shack Pets is better than TikTok. I
Oh,
appreciate
shout
you.
There
out
you
to
go.
Jim.
I've noticed
Hey,
though, like the
shout out
algorithm
that
does.
Jim because he actually shouts out our product.
He's insane.
Like
You don't
some
know this
hosts on
guy.
this channel.
He's tracking us right now.
Y'all got product?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got some
hell yeah.
product. If
Oh,
could
hell
you,
yeah.
if you got coin.
If you got
Oh,
No, it's free. But yeah, we made a social platform, Technicals, that's like it's all about pet pictures, and then it looks like Tinder, but you vote on which pet picture is cuter. It's called Shack Pets.
Oh, so you're like the Mark Zuckerberg of Zoo Files?
Basically, no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Why did you say yes?
Basically,
No.
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 I guess in the sense that Mark Zuckerberg's created Facebook out of Face Smash, which was hot or
Yeah.
not, basically. Yeah, in
Yeah.
that sense, yes. Outside
Okay.
of that, no.
Okay, so there's some truth to it, is what you're saying.
That's what I was getting at.
Okay.
There,
I
you
just had
know
to check.
this. There's different tiers to a story, Tech. It's not just black and white all the time, man.
This
Some
is the
people's
nuance.
dogs are more smashable than other people's dogs.
All right, we
That's
need to
not
move.
about smashing
We need to
dogs.
move
We're not
on from
doing
this.
this today.
Sorry,
We
let's
need to
stop
move
it.
on from
Stop
this.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop
This is
talking.
bad optics.
I should get my gavel. It's enough of this. But anyway, thanks, Beastie. We appreciate you and everyone else watching in the chat.
yeah.
Also,
You guys got anything else? You guys
Yeah, I
got
was-
Tech? Do you got
Oh, go ahead,
Rod?
go ahead,
Go for it.
Rod.
No, I was just going to ask, what do you do like on your free time? I know you say you're not like really super involved with the Smash community, and like most Smashers, when you ask them what the hell they do, they're like, I just play Smash and like, that's it. But like, what do
Well,
you do, man? Because like these videos take a lot of damn time.
yeah, when I used to play Smash, I found that it was kind of like a time pit. Like whenever because I was like PR'd in Vegas, and at that point, I'm like trying not to lose to certain people, and I'm trying to become like the best.
Mhm.
Whenever you play a different game, you feel like, oh, dude, I could be using this time to practice Smash.
Yep.
Or whenever you're doing something else, you're like, damn, I could be labbing. But the second I stopped caring and I quit Smash, I put all my time into like learning how to be a better like video producer and like a comedian, how to write better jokes and stuff like that. So I spend a lot of my time on my videos, and then I also in my free time I'll watch shows. Like I started watching Smiling Friends, and I've been like binging that over and over again to give them more revenue.
Oh, that's
'Cause-
old school, dude. That's like with the animals like always end up dying or something. Like it was like I used to watch that on my iPod.
No. This is a new one from Psychic Pebbles and Michael Cusack. It's a new animation. It's like a comedy thing. You haven't seen the thing with
Oh,
the
I'm sorry. I
yellow.
thought it was Happy Tree Friends. My
Yeah, no.
apologies.
No.
Oh,
This is on
I
Adult
got
Swim.
you. Yeah, that
Yeah.
show actually freaks me right the fuck out. My
Happy
roommate
Tree
back
Friends
in
was the
Jersey was
shit
just like,
back
"Hey,
then.
yo, we should pull up to
I
the room. We should watch this." And I'm like, "All right, man." You know, and I'm watching. I'm thinking this is like some Nickelodeon shit. You know, these characters look very, very
Yeah,
childlike. And then like I was like, "Yo, what is?" I'm scared. What is
it
going
baits
on?
you. I think that,
Yeah.
like, scarred me a little bit. Those videos make me uncomfortable. But yeah, I'll watch shows like that. I like to watch comedies, and then I also watch anime, obviously. I like
Hmm,
anime. It's pretty good.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
someone asked. I figured I'd bring it up. You've been targeted a lot by prominent people in the Smash community, and they try to sick their followers on you and all sorts of stuff. And
I would
you
say
come
people
back.
in general. Like it's not just
Eh,
Smash related, right?
No,
well,
but yeah, there's people in
recently
the
it's been
video
the
game scene.
commentary community, but
Yeah.
yeah. Most of the time they just block me, so they kinda, like, curate themselves out of my feed.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's not like I get much hate from them. It's recently been the commentary guys and, like, dealing with that because they had an issue with my Zero video, and then this known pathological liar, John Swan, drops a video when I had, like, flights planned all month. But I finally came back, and I'm good now, so
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're giving Zero a platform," and that's an argument that we've heard. Even I don't know if you watched the Pat McAfee show ever, but
no.
he has Aaron Rodgers, this quarterback for the Packers, on there, and that guy has been kind of anti-vax. So like everyone's like, "Yeah, you're giving him a platform here," but
He
I
always
think
had his platform. He always had his platform. All I did was explain my reasoning for thinking why he won't misuse his platform, and then debunking, like, mistruths that were spread about him.
and didn't Zero post a video the same day that your video came out?
Yeah, that was people are like, it's some conspiracy thing. It's like, no, he had parts of my video and a shout out in his
Yeah.
video because people should go watch the video explaining his entire case. That's
Hmm.
why. Like, I'm not pretending like I'm not involved. Obviously, I'm involved. I've talked to him. Like,
Yeah.
duh.
But are you planning on making any more videos about the people who are attacking you? Or-
No, no, I
okay.
don't think they're worth my time.
That's what I figured.
Um, it's kind of boring at a certain point because I don't feel like except for recently, like, the commentary stuff was more of a challenge. When it comes to Smash, it's not even a challenge. It's like punching down the whole time. That's all it feels like, and that's not fun. It's not fun for my audience, and it gets stale really quick.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah,
I'm looking
so
forward to like whatever new content you're gonna put out. It sounds like it's gonna be a little different than the past year and a half or so.
yeah, it's gonna have a similar vibe. Like, obviously, the research is gonna stay as consistent as it has been. The comedy is just gonna keep getting better and better. I tried to outdo myself because that entire time I was making cases. Obviously, I'm not gonna throw sketches into that because that would be distasteful. Because
Yeah.
even I can realize, like, yeah, it's probably a little distasteful to throw like SpongeBob in the or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to the SpongeBob video.
Before we let you go, Mr. Technical Sir, I'd like to ask one question that's pertinent to our show here.
Shoot.
After we talk about esports, we also talk about meals we enjoy and the places we like to go. If you'd be willing, would you like to list your favorite fast food and or Grubhub / DoorDash meal? And also, what's something that other people out there ordering you think that they should be shamed for ordering from the fast food / fast casual world? And I'll take this
Okay.
one off the air.
You'll take this one off the air?
Just go for it. I mean, no,
Oh,
I'm just making a joke like we were calling show. I'm sorry.
oh, okay. Yeah, so the thing that I'll get the most that I'll just have, like, a random craving for is, like, Spam, eggs, and rice. I don't know, I just really like Spam, egg, and rice. It's probably 'cause, during, like, high school and middle school, there'd be people that would just go around, and sell, like, Spam musubi for, like, $1, and I just got a taste for it, and it's like that treasure. You're like, "Oh, yeah, where's the musubi guy? Where's he at with the Spam today?" So I usually get a taste for Spam, even though it's, like,
Awesome.
really high in sodium and it's probably super bad for you. What do I think people should be ashamed for ordering? I feel like if you're gonna go out of your way to order something to your house and you're getting something like Burger King, you probably shouldn't have that app. Like, you probably should. Why would you get Burger King? I don't
You're
know.
my
I
hero.
I, I said this earlier. Burger King is an L.
I see Rod's just being awfully quiet right now.
Oh,
Burger
he's
King
muted.
does suck. I mean,
Is
Yeah,
Rod frozen? He
I
just
feel like
doesn't want to say
His
anything.
soul might
an
be.
anything from Burger King is just
That's
trash.
fair. I appreciate
Burger
that.
King
Yeah.
ain't Burger
Both
King
those
ain't good, man.
answers.
If I may,
Here it
okay.
goes.
Burger King has got me out of some hard times. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
not
Is
terrible. You know, it's
is
just
it
good,
like
you know.
is it like your depression food? Is it close by or something? It's
It's
cheap?
close. It's actually close by. It's like actually right across the street from my house, but their hours are
See, that
garbage, so
makes
they
sense.
might as well. Yeah. But like you
Yeah.
get a BK stacker or like a chicken sandwich. I'm fine for a few hours. But the food is like fucking eating imagination. Like it doesn't go anywhere, and you're hungry again later.
That shit, I don't
Yeah.
know. With me, that should be sitting, bro. It's like too heavy, too greasy. Like, you guys got a place in Vegas called Freddy's that if you haven't been there, I would advise you to go there.
Oh,
Steak burgers are
yes.
out of control good. I can't wait.
And they got, what are they called? The cheese curds. They got those big old little things of cheese curds you can get, and then,
Yes,
like,
you can get
the
cheese curds.
concrete. Yeah. I like to get just a big old thing of cheese curds and some
Very,
ice
very
cream.
good. That place is a W. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. But,
Nice.
There you go.
you always talk about Zaxby's?
Yeah, I do, but
Oh,
like I've kind of like drifted away from there a little bit because there's this place in California called Dave's Hot Chicken, which I think might have Zaxby's beat.
I think I went there one year when I went to California. Yeah.
Pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. A good chicken sandwich goes a long way.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of good food in Vegas, though, man. It's just expensive.
Well, I like living in Vegas because the time frame that you can get food is a lot wider than living somewhere else. Because when I took my trip to Oklahoma, I was like, "Wow, there's like everything's like closed at 8 p.m. What the what the
Yeah,
hell? I can't do anything."
that's for real.
So
Yeah, you can eat like a king at 2 in the morning in Vegas and like
exactly.
for a decent price.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, does anyone else have any questions for technicals here? I feel like we've had a pretty comprehensive interview.
Got one last one. So what's the next event people are going to see you at?
The next event people are gonna
Do you
well
have any plans on traveling anytime soon?
if Level Up is coming up soon. I mean, if it's like a Smash Major, I'm not gonna announce it because that would give people time to ban me before I go.
Ah, it makes
And
sense. Gotcha.
yeah, I need to have my GoPro strapped on my head. I need to get some footage out of it, so I can't be banned before I book the flight. That would suck.
Very smart. I think Level
Yeah.
Up is just an anime con in general that happens to have a Smash tournament and other tournaments at it as
Oh,
well.
for real? Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
sick then.
that's per yeah. It's just a big anime con. It's been that way for a long time.
I'm
Um,
assuming you're gonna be there with, like, TK?
yeah, actually, so we met the girls at a Evo like 3 years ago who run it, and like we just hit it off, and like they just started hiring us. So yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Cool.
Just
Yeah,
pull up,
you've been
bro.
doing some big things. It's nice to see. I love seeing you work, EE.
Yeah, man. I work like a slave if they pay me like a white man. That's all.
Nice, nice. It shows, the work shows.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Well, I got two
Well,
quick questions before you go, Tech. Sorry. I have to ask this one because I timed out somebody in chat for it because they redeemed the timeout reward.
Oh,
They just want to know what your favorite anime is, real quick.
Hunter x Hunter. I have a
All
ton
right.
of Hunter x Hunter merch. I'm actually rewatching I'm watching the original version because I haven't seen it just to see the differences. Then I might read the full manga.
And this last question is to kind of take us into our next spot. Who is your most who's your favorite hopeful to get into Smash Summit, and why is it Larry Lur?
Larry Slur, let's go.
Okay.
I
Oh,
love Larry Lur. I did a sketch with him a long time ago, and I said if he gets into Summit, I'll make that public on my main channel again. It's him and a cat. I want to see him and a cat. That'd
yeah.
be cool. Get the brothers in.
Awesome.
Get all
there
the
you
brothers.
go.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Good.
much for joining us. It was an excellent interview, and we had a great time talking to you as well.
Yeah, it was
Really,
fun, man.
it was an honor having you on the show, and would gladly have you again.
Yeah, maybe we can arrange some sort of boxing match next time.
I'm down. I'll fight EE right now, right here now.
I don't want you guys
Hell
to
yeah.
fight.
Was it like a
I
4-hour bus ride?
Tune them up
I
like a
I,
piano.
I will not hit another brother. I will not do it. So
Yeah,
You can
we
you
don't
can just
want that.
consider me like Puerto Rican or something. We'll call it even.
in my heart of hearts, I would know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can't do that. But yeah,
Alright.
yeah. Thank you, Technicals, for taking the time out to chat with us. We really do appreciate it, and for your candor in answering all these questions. You didn't have to, but
Yeah,
I
no
think
problem.
people who tuned in probably got a good look into your process. And yeah, hopefully they have a better idea of where you're coming from with the motivations behind a lot of these things. And I, for one, appreciate your content and what you're doing for the scene,
You
even if
better
you don't.
not.
Look, I got too much money to care. But yeah, like
Whoa, okay.
I do.
Alright. If you appreciate it so much, where's that? Where's that in my bank account?
I don't know.
I'm not feeling very appreciated right now, sir.
Okay, well, I like all your videos and I tweet them and stuff.
Okay. That gets me money. I guess
There
that's
you
fair.
go.
I'll take
I'm just saying,
take
like I guess I should follow you on Twitter. Maybe I'm not doing enough on that front. So
that'll help. That'll
you're
help.
at technicals underscore, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And are you just is that the same on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure. Just look up technicals. I'll
Okay.
be the first one you
Or
find.
just Google technicals, tell me what to think.
It's just
Yeah.
technicals on YouTube.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's just technicals.
Solid. But yeah, thank you. I don't think we have anything else. You're free to go if you want to, and
Yeah, Tech. Thanks again, man. This was dope.
we really
Yeah,
do
thanks for having
appreciate
me.
your time. Awesome.
Are we
Well, there you
offline?
have it.
No,
No, we're
still
going to
online.
continue our show.
Oh
You're
God.
actually the
We're still-
first
We still have
segment
some
of
more
our
show, but yeah, we made you our first segment.
Please don't
Okay,
share
just
your
off-
But
credit
you can
card
stay.
number.
Like I said, we were saying, you can stay for the rest of the show to talk about what we're talking about. You're free to go if you like. But
What's
we're
the
gonna move on
subject?
to Smash Summit actually, since
Oh.
we were talking about Summit a little bit there at the end. Because Summit's locking in fast, and looks like Goblin and Fatality are gonna make their entrance. If you had any thoughts on that.
Well, it's my friend's birthday today, and I also got to get my girlfriend some
Yeah,
flowers.
get
and
out of here.
See,
Get
exactly.
outta
That's what
here.
we're saying. Get
Get
out
out
of here.
here, man.
Okay.
You don't have to
All
stick
right, well-
around.
Make sure you smash it twice as hard for the ancestors. All right.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. See you guys. You have fun.
Happy
Peace.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank
What
you,
a legend.
technicals. Yeah,
What a
seriously,
goddamn legend. That was a treat for our viewers.
it was.
Yeah, it was a good interview. Definitely.
Yeah, I almost say, you know, a thing or two about
very solid
interviewing.
interviews in a row.
What are you guys, professionals on this broadcast? You guys know how to ask questions. It's weird. What is this? Is this a news show? What is this? What is this?
Hey,
place?
look, sometimes I'll tag in and class up this joint. But yeah, like I've been watching those technicals videos for a while. I had some questions for the man, and he answered every single one of them, and I appreciate that.
Sorry about the Burger King stuff, Rod.
All right. Nobody cares about Rod. It's cool, man. Don't even worry about it. It's just, I like Burger King. Burger King likes me. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna have it my way. All right. That's
Rod,
the motto.
you don't. Do you go to Burger King? Like, you don't order it delivered, do you?
No, I just walk across the street. And
Okay.
go,
At least you're cutting, like, because you have to pay a premium to get stuff delivered.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
That's like
imagining
a bridge
somebody
too
riding
far.
by your Burger King and looking in the window on a rainy day, and you're just there eating like your cheeseburger, and the REM song "Everybody Hurts" is playing out of your cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Damn.
there's only two places you're gonna find me if you come, to the middle of the map. It's at the house or it's at Burger King. All right. That's it.
nice.
There you go.
All right. Well, Rod, to show you how much I care, what are your thoughts on Goblin and Fatality getting into Smash Summit?
I think it's a Summit. No, people are never going to admit this. They're never going to say it, but Summit is about the entertainment. Yes, there's the competitive, whatever that needs to go into it. We need good players there, blah, blah, blah. But damn it, the people need to be entertained. And I can't think of very many players who can do it on a consistent level, like Goblin, and for damn sure, like Fatality. I mean, I think of like my first interaction with Fatality, it was like at the Big House 5, and he had a match versus Ryuga, and the whole room was watching, like half of Atlanta, half of Detroit, watching these two players throw down. And that's when I knew, like, this is the guy here. And I think to have somebody like Fatality, who's also, people don't give him his credit. He's actually a pretty funny dude when he's not trying to be funny. I could see him cutting up really good in these skits. And, when it comes to the actual matches themselves, I mean, Fatality is like literally a walking, talking highlight film. Who doesn't want to see him play?
He's still Falcon Man, right?
Yep. But he has other characters too, but it's the Falcon that's going to get it done.
Yeah, I like character diversity at Summit, so it's cool to see a Falcon will be there at least. But yeah, I guess that's my take on it. I just like seeing as many different possible characters. So we
It's
don't just have
always
to-
like they always want to have a hype, hype characters or whatever. Like I think out of that list of people who are there, I think Fatality is definitely up there for sure. Tilde is another one of them. I don't know how Fatality is gonna be like skit wise. I really have no idea what to expect. I'm sure. I mean, anytime I've talked to him, nice enough guy. I'm sure he can definitely sprinkle some humor in there. So that'll be see. But I'm more for him looking forward to the gameplay.
Yeah.
And then Goblin, glad he made it in because like with no cola invite and him like apparently not even caring enough to campaign, definitely a lack of a representation for Roy, which is one of my favorite characters to watch. I'm glad he made it in too. Shouts to that Moist gang. Definitely got the funds to back that up and make sure the boy got in. So I'm okay with both of those guys. And I think Goblin from Wall, I think I could tell on Twitter, he's pretty much a smart ass. So I think he'll be good to put in some skits too.
So are Aaron and Cola not going to be at Summit?
Aaron said he's not interested in campaigning, and Cola just hasn't done anything, so I don't think he cares either.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
mean they went last
campaigning
time,
takes
so
it.
it's probably like
Yeah, campaigning takes a lot out of you, especially when like you don't get it because a lot of these players, they're really cool people when you get to know them. But I just think by nature, the entertainment aspect that you need to campaign, a lot of these guys just aren't that by nature. And so I can see them after one failed attempt, just not doing it again. But I do like the fact that a lot of the top players are supporting each other. Like, hey, I didn't get in, but let me help retweet and push my boys' stuff. So the
I'm pitching
camaraderie is
a
there.
I'm pitching a skit for them to put Fatality in at some point, or even just like a reference to it in the skit of his old sponsor. Remember, he used to be sponsored by YouPorn back in Smash 4. So I definitely want to see if he can bring that jersey and we can make something funny happen.
Hold
Good
on now.
Lord.
We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, like talking about campaigning, guys, it seems like the Smash, not every Smash esports player has this huge YouTube presence or this huge Twitch presence. It seems like the guys that do or the gals that do are definitely levered better to this kind of a, I wouldn't call it a fundraiser, but like this kind of a, outreach. Would you
Sure.
agree with that? I was watching the cat stream this weekend stuff. Like he's putting incentives in his stream, and it just seems like some of these dudes like may not have that infrastructure built around them yet.
Well,
So
yeah, I
maybe
mean,
this is a reason to, yeah.
well, no, I mean, it's always been a numbers game. I think, and that's any platform, any sort of aspect of entertainment. Sometimes the guy that's funnier or better just might get overshadowed by the guy who just has more numbers. And um, Summit, I think we see a little bit of that as well. There are a lot of players who are really, really good. Like, yo, this person, if they showed up, they would clean house at Summit. But then you're like, do I also want to see 4 or 5 days of them, being kind of weird and not talking or like not being funny in skits? I think it kind of splits the community's wants in half. But I do agree that there are some very phenomenal players who could actually go in there and win that money, but they just aren't putting in the content grind. And I want to say I feel bad for them, but when I look at like some of the end of Smash 4, where like these esports teams, these tier one teams, they know Ultimate's coming out, they know contracts are ending, and they're just like, all right, let's empty the roster. Some of the coaches or the team owners were like, no, we'll keep said player because they have a lot of content, and they can keep farming shit for us. They might not be placing well, but this is a content game. And I just think if you don't have that as a player at this point and you're trying to campaign for Summit, your ass is in some trouble.
It's just surprising because a lot of players maybe in 2019 weren't as far ahead as they are now, but there's still some players that have like no YouTube channel and like barely stream, and that just seems kind of weird. Like with offline being a thing, it's kind of like even you guys, like it's forced both of you guys to EE especially like to really become a content creator on top of being a caster, and it just seems like some of these guys may
Yeah.
lack the motivation or the skill.
Dude, I've always said like for Summit, like I don't care how good you are, I care about how entertaining you are. So like, that's like one of my because like, I'm only going for the serious competition. Go to another tournament, go to a regular tournament. I don't give a shit about that other stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I need some entertainment, bro.
Is it 16 players at Summit?
I think. I don't know.
What would you guys be against this, or do you think it might be up for discussion to move this to like 32?
Nah, that's too many people. That's too many.
Yeah,
It's less
I
of a
think,
summit at that point.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's too
it
many
feels more
people.
like a bracket. I think,
Okay.
you don't want too little people, but you also don't want too many. And especially with how exclusive it is to even get in. Like if you aren't invited or like a part of staff or there to work as, commentary, a ticket just to walk in the door is like a rack or something crazy. So, it needs to have that exclusive feel, which I do think Smash just needs to have more of that in general. I've always felt like grassroots and fighting games, it's cool that everybody could be a part, but there does need to be some exclusive some things where not everybody can be there because it only just amplifies the competition, the viewing experience, all that type of shit. So 16 is cool.
Okay.
Agreed.
No, I was just curious what you guys thought on that. And it seems like the pace of the show as is like perfect, right? Like you got that first day where it's kind of friendly, so you do those like team battles or whatever. And then I know you guys have that day before where you're filming a lot of the content that we're going to see over the weekend. It seems like they have a good formula set up already there. And to EE's point, you need talent, right? You don't just need like a player who's good at Smash. Like you need someone who's funny on camera or is going to be funny in Mafia or like whatever. And I think it's got to be tough to make these selections. But it's cool to see everyone campaigning, and like we said, I like the creativity that we see among some of the players.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt about that.
Is that why Nakat isn't going to make it? Man, I hope he does. I hope Nakat makes it.
Yeah, the cat's a good guy. I feel like sometimes people kind of dunk on him, or maybe they just forget, how actually good he is when he plays. But like, you go to any major, you're going to find the cat, and it's whooping ass in the friendlies room. Like
I can't remember what he was close in a couple of tournaments in the offline world, late last year, or early this year. But yeah, definitely a talented player. That's the challenge here. Is there's a lot of talented players. Not everyone can make it. It makes these campaigning moments super, super important. So if you see anyone out there that you're a fan of that's campaigning, be sure to retweet their stuff, get on smash.gg and vote for them. And yeah, maybe they'll make it.
There you go.
Do you want to go on to the next story, Brian?
Yeah, let's do that. People get out there and vote for your Summit players. But the next story, however, is something not quite as happy as people getting invited to Summit or making their goals to get there. This is about esports teams folding up, closing up shop, going out of business. It's happening. I mean, it's tough to run an esports organization. It's not always profitable. It looks like Noble GG has been having problems with their funds in paying not only staff, but players and talent that they've hired to participate in tournaments, such as T-Pain, who participated in a tournament for them as part of their goal to get some more visibility. They even it even got so far as to a post from the social media team on their own Twitter account asking Noble or saying that there won't be any more tweets until they get paid. That tweet is now since deleted, obviously, but yeah, it looks really bad for them. There's an official statement from the owner, but really, what can you say? It looks like they're not going to be around much longer.
That statement was really weird. I read it because I was on the show, so I was like, I might as well actually read some of these things today. Actually know what I'm talking about. He talks about how their PayPal got shut down, and then they like tried to do a bank account, but then it got shut down because it was involved in crypto. I'm like, what are you guys doing over there?
Yeah, like what the fuck is going on in the background? Like, what are you not talking about? Because there's more
Yeah,
to it. Because that's
it
always like
seems
the esport, like, oh, my PayPal doesn't work, so gotta wait a couple years. I'm like, why though? What's going on?
yeah. It seems like there's some kind of liquidity issue going on behind the scenes that they're not willing to talk about. And granted, you can definitely get locked out of PayPal. That definitely happens. So I'm not saying that isn't the case. But then, like, if you go down to like the 3 paragraphs, you're like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And that doesn't make sense. And what the logical conclusion is that they're just out of money. And maybe it's a situation where they haven't been paid by a sponsor or a vendor or something, and it's a cash flow issue. But yeah, you can't be bringing on people like T-Pain and not paying them. Like that's gonna bite you in the ass real quick.
Yeah, I mean, especially
Yeah.
how like important T-Pain has been for esports. Like him.
And like
I mean, at the
super
end of
open
the
to
day,
working with gaming companies though. He's been awesome about that. Like he gives his time to a lot of different gaming orgs. So he's used to a certain style of treatment. If you can't pay that man, like you're gonna get put on blast for this.
dude, it just comes down to they was some bum asses, and they bum asses didn't pay. And they social team was like, all right, bum asses, we're gonna lock you out your account, tweet some head ass shit, which actually isn't head ass, it was the truth. Like, we haven't been paid. And that was just it. I mean, Noble GG, you know what I mean? Like, some of these garage band sponsorships are just staying afloat, staying afloat. Eventually, you're gonna hit that iceberg and capsize. That's what happened to them.
That's what
So,
happened to Armada too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our next story, or our next part of this story is Armada Esports. Not quite circling the drain like Noble. No, they're just gone. They're done. They've put up an announcement closing their doors
Oh,
from
what the heck?
2017 to 2022. They're out.
That's
Heck.
unfortunate to see. I look at Armada Esports as, they're a very important team. I think they're like kind of like those local sponsors, and then you get like Armada, and then after Armada, like if you're a top professional player, you're trying to strive for like a TSM, a Cloud9, so they're like kind of in that midway point. I've always felt like they've been really good to the Smash community. They, sponsored like Best Nest. I even think they had Hazmat. They had a commentator on there at one point in time. Syrup. Just a lot of really strong individuals. And when you do esports, but when you particularly bank all in on Smash, like you're really rolling the dice not in your favor. And for them to stay as long as they did is even, I mean, that's just baffling to see. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I mean, at least they didn't go out like some busters, you know what I'm saying? They had a very respectable letter released and obviously a lot of positive feedback. I did read the tweet, you know what I'm saying? Like some good people over there, just
It tried, and
it's
I
just
think that
unfortunate.
as a Smash Ultimate org, boy, have they had a tough 3 years here, right?
Yeah.
Like 2020 just threw a brick at their head. 2021 wasn't really all there. And yeah, 2022 was starting out like, oh, we're kicking the can down the road on Glitch, and Genesis is getting delayed. So like these companies need cash to operate. They need some kind of returns from their players, and I think that's what's going on here. Is you're going to see a lot of esports companies are barely profitable or they lose money. So when you
Yeah.
remove any income or any revenue, you're going to see them fold because they don't have other streams coming in. So I think it sucks because this was a dedicated Smash esports org. It really sucks to see this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of this across esports this year.
Yeah, especially Noble too. Like Noble, they weren't, the most notable esports team, but they were pretty prominent on Twitter and verified and very much like in the thick
Yeah.
of things. And to see them go down the way they did, it just almost makes you wonder like how many other teams are struggling with this and just not saying anything about it.
A lot.
Yeah.
And Rod, it's not just esports. It's the video game industry as a whole right now is struggling. Uh, Games media is struggling. You look at what's going on with E3 right now. It doesn't appear that there is going to be an E3 at all, even a digital one. So yeah, like this, it all goes back to the concept of events, right? If events aren't happening, players can't play, prizes can't be won, orgs can't get paid. So I think like there's this domino effect, and maybe this is a little delayed, because props to them for making it this far from 2020 to now. They probably had to make some serious cuts along the way to even survive this far. So I
Well,
appreciate anyone in this scene that's
Armada's
trying.
Armada was around for 5 years, from
Mhm.
2017 to now. So yeah, it's very admirable for them to stick around for that long, especially in these last few years, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I'm just
But
saying, like 17, 19 was a little bit easier to exist as an
yeah,
esports or because there
oh
was
yeah,
events happening on the regular. Whereas like 2020 was the end for a lot of that stuff. And I don't think across the board it seems like most players have not made the jump to online Smash. Like it's not the same players.
hmm
Best Nest is awesome in online. He's okay. He is mid-tier offline player. Some of the best offline players refuse to even play online anymore.
yeah,
They call it depressing. They say like I just can't do it. So if you're sponsoring those players and online is the future, or at least part of it, it's going to make it really hard. But yeah, it sucks to see a team that was literally born with Ultimate, go like this. It really
it
does
really
suck.
does. No, you're absolutely right. What I think sucks even more though is to see a team like you were saying, like Noble, just really fail to own up to the mistakes that they've made without, failing to pay the people that they've promised to pay, especially staff and players. And that's just not cool at all. But then, yeah, just releasing kind of these bogus statements that don't make a lot of sense. Yeah, you have to give props to Armada for at least going out with some class and Noble GG. I just don't know what's up with them.
Yeah, I was very deflective,
Nothing,
very
they're
just
done.
yeah, they're done. That's just not that's not how we roll. You gotta hold that.
Yeah, hopefully we won't see this happen to any more organizations that we're fond of, especially in the Smash scene. But like Asif said, it is definitely a possibility, if not a possibility, a more of a likelihood that we'll be reporting on more of this coming in 2022.
I don't like that this is becoming a
No.
trend. I think it might be a trend.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a struggle out there for esports orgs, but you know it's not a struggle is hitting that follow button, everybody. That's not a struggle at all. It takes one quick click, and you'll be followed here to Shacknews Twitch. And if you have it in you to make one more click, you can even click that notification bell, and that way you'll get notified every time we go live with our myriad of weekly content. We have shows running pretty much every day of the week. It's tough to keep up, but we have a lot out there, and it's all excellent. So make sure you're notified. Make sure you're followed to the channel. And if you feel so inclined, you can even kick us one of those subscriptions, help us support the channel, help us bring you some of this content your way, like the wide world of esports and all of the amazing guests that we've been having. Um, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you could even link that to your Twitch and get the Prime Gaming sub going, and that's basically free. And we take those Bezos bucks. So thank you to everybody who's supporting the channel. And if you're not, please consider doing so. Be greatly appreciated. We thank you for doing it for Shacknews. But if you can't watch all the stuff live, you can always head over to YouTube. We got 2 channels over there, Shacknews Games and Gamer Hub videos, where you can find thousands of hours of exclusive content, unboxings, reviews, interviews, previews, developer interviews, exclusive talks with the people who make the games, plus Twitch content that we're exporting over our VODs over here to YouTube as well. So if you miss the stuff here on Twitch, you can check it out over there as well. If you also like what you're seeing, of course, you could talk about it on your social media channels like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're all over all of those at Shacknews on Twitter and Facebook, Shacknews Media on Instagram. Go give Denny Von Doom a shout out. DVD, he's in chat right there.
DVD.
Yeah, he's holding it down over on our social media channels. Give him a shout out. Throw him a picture or two, but not a pet picture. You save those for Shack Pets. If you have an iOS or Android device, and you probably do, you can download Shack Pets today for free. It is a very fun way to just waste a couple of minutes of each day. You know, if you're standing in line or just find yourself with nothing to do for a little while, you can load up Shack Pets, scroll through some pet pics. Asif's got something to say.
Waste is not the word I would
Yeah, I'm sorry. No,
use.
wait. Yeah, exactly.
Enhance your time.
Enhance. And
How
yes,
about
if you
that?
feel like enhancing what used to be a waste of your time when you're like waiting for your coffee or waiting in line, you can now enhance that time with Shack Pets. You can just browse really cute pet pictures. You can upload your own really cute pet pictures, and you can challenge your pictures against other people's pictures for the ultimate battle in cuteness. It's free. It's fun. Do it.
And you can even win Shacknews.
And that's right. You can win Shacknews with Shack Pets. It accrues a lot of Shack points.
I
And
honestly don't know if it runs on Windows Phone. You're the first person to ever ask me that. Does Windows Phone run does Google Play run on Windows Phone?
Does it? That's a good question. I'm just a brainless Apple user, so
G
don't listen to
Pyro,
me.
I will ask our devs about Windows Phone support, and they will laugh their asses off at me, and we'll get back to work on whatever we're doing. But I will ask.
excellent. If there's a market out there for Windows Phone, there isn't. It's dead. It's done. But if we can get a Shack Pets user easily, I'm sure we can do that. But it probably won't happen.
Look, if it's as easy as checking a box on our compiler, like, we'll do it. But I don't know.
All right.
I have
But
no one. That's the first person to ever ask about that.
that is. So yes, download Shack Pets for free today on the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store. And of course, while you're doing that, head over to shacknews.com. You know, that's why we're here. That's the website. That's the mother site. That has all the stuff you need for the latest and greatest in gaming and technology news. It also has a load of user services that are completely free, just like Shack Pets. I'm talking about Shack News Reader. I'm talking about Shack News Cortex. I'm talking about Shack News Chatty. It's all there. And of course, it's all supported by Shacknews Mercury. That's our subscription service. That's how we keep the lights on. Well, one of the ways we keep the lights on over at shacknews.com. And it's a great way to show how much you want to do it for Shack News because it's super affordable. It's the cheapest subscription you could ever get. It's $1 a month. There's no subscription more affordable than that. it gives you pretty cool stuff too, like chatty emblems. So everyone in Shacknews chatty knows that you're doing it for Shacknews. Even better, it gives you access to David Craddock's excellent long reads in portable format. So you can take those awesome long reads that are usually tied to our website. You can download them in whatever portable format you like, PDF, EPUB, all that good stuff. Put it on a compatible device, and then you can read those wherever you are with no internet connection required. And I'm telling you, these are novel length deep dives into some of the best stories in gaming, as told by the people who were there, through David Craddock's excellent lens. It really is awesome content. Make sure you go and check it out. Make sure you sub to Shack News Mercury. And if you're feeling a little, cheeky, you could kick us some more than $1 a month. We have higher tiers of subscription. You can get some Shack News swag like t-shirts, hoodies, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, Shack News Mercury is the sub for you if you want to do it for Shack News.
Do Mercury.
That's right. Let's move on though. We got a couple more things to talk about today on Wide World of Esports, and we got to get into a little bit more bad news before we get into the good news. It looks like TSM is off to the worst start in LCS history. Just not winning any games, starting off 0-4, already lost to the Golden Guardians. It's just it's not looking good for TSM right now. Their lineup is kind of not working out for them. They have a good jungler, but they have some rookies on their team as well. I'm not sure if they're one of the teams that are still waiting on visas. As I reported on last week, there are teams still waiting for some visas to fill out their entire rosters. But they got to get something together soon. What do you guys think about TSM and their lackluster LCS performance?
It's oh, go ahead, Phil. What you got to say? So what you
You
got to
know,
say?
me and the Sam have a very fragile relationship ever since they dismissed my boy Charles. Luckily, we were here
Yeah.
at East Coast, picked him up and gave him the right kind of opportunity. But look, I'll be honest with you, it's just a rough start. It happens, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm used to rough starts in both esports and out of esports. Shouts to the Lakers. Things just can go wrong and go haywire. I wouldn't be down about this just yet if I'm a TSM fan.
How are you
Still
gonna
plenty
call the
of time.
Lakers a rough start 50 games into the season?
It's called copium, and that's all I got right now. So
Yeah, it's gonna be funny when that guy leaves for Cleveland again.
it wouldn't surprise me at this point. But I mean, yeah, it sucks. I don't think a lot of people expected it, especially the Golden Guardians lost. That was kind of like a head scratch. I remember my roommates were talking about it actually.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You gotta bounce back, man. But definitely like I said, rough start doesn't, start rough and smooth. That's just
Forgive
generally
me
how
for my ignorance here, Brian, and obviously you're the expert here because you put this in the Google Doc. Isn't this early? Like super early
It is a
in the
little early,
LCS
yeah.
season?
It's still
Really?
kind of early in the LCS. I mean, they still have time to pull things back for sure.
And like you said, the team composition may not be there right now
Yeah.
because there's visa issues. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that maybe this team isn't playing to its best abilities yet. But this is a very good league team, so I give them the benefit of the doubt here. Even though I really can't stand this esport.
I'm the sensationalist of the show. I like to sensationalize things a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's how us mainstream media people get clicks.
And maybe they're playing the long game. I know the visa thing is obviously a very important thing, and I think it is the double-edged sword of esports being as worldwide as we see it is today, especially with the LCS. This game is played every goddamn where. I guess the fact of the matter is, maybe they're just playing the long game. Like, hey, we got some rookies right now. We can get some stronger players in the future, but 0-4, and I don't want to be this guy. Like, we lost, but it was close. If I'm not mistaken, from what I read, they were some losses, but they didn't go down without a fight. Like, they weren't like spankings or anything like that. So they obviously know what they're doing. They just have to tighten up a few areas. I mean,
Yeah.
TSM obviously picked these guys up for a reason, and I am hard pressed to believe that they would just pick up a bunch of rookies just to troll. You know what I mean?
So, do they need to click faster or
Eh,
click more with more deliberate, with more thought?
They
Is
need
it
more
is
precision.
it the clicking, or is it the thought behind the clicking? That's really
I
my
think it's the
question.
thought behind the clicking.
Okay, well, that's got to come down to the coach then.
Click
No,
faster.
you are right though about how early it is. I mean, they're just heading into the spring split, so they got out of the LCS lock-in. Obviously, no wins. And everyone else. There's only been 4 games played among all the teams, right? So with only 4 games down, a lot of games to go. There's still a lot of swing that could happen in the future. But this being their worst start in their LCS history definitely says something because they haven't done this badly before.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah, I think
hopefully it
it's
opens
a
the
little
door up
alarming.
for another team to have
Yeah.
like a run, because I think people get tired of the same teams dominating both Dota and LoL. So
Mhm.
I'd love to see new blood. And esports players move teams, so maybe there'll be a different org that picks up some players that are more
Mhm.
vets. I love this comment that Westbrook would not make the Toon Squad. That's hilarious in
We
chat.
don't. That's exactly why I didn't address that ignoramus. Just ridiculous, disrespectful.
On one side, EE will not respect it. On my side, as a Cavs fan, I enjoy watching the Lakers fall apart. It's hilarious.
Vladi Divac is the one true greatest Laker of all time. Deal with it.
Bingo. My man.
All right. Well, I think that's it for our LCS reporting this week. Step it up,
Thank you.
TSM, or don't step it up and leave somebody else to take a run at it. Like Asif said, that would also be very
Hopefully
nice
they
to
don't
see.
step it up because there'll be a story. Like
Yep.
they haven't won at all this season. So
Yeah.
yeah, like if
They go
it
0
maybe
and 10.
yeah, like we'll have like a Shanghai Dragons situation on our
Yikes!
hands.
Absolutely.
They
Hey,
were
the
at
Shanghai
Worlds last
Dragons.
year. That'd be kind of
That's
tragic.
what I'm saying. They
What
kind
a
of came
turnaround.
all the way back.
Right.
Yep. They sure did. All right.
Let's move
So
on.
let's move on to our last story of the day. Usually we leave it for a more wholesome, uplifting, heartwarming story, but didn't really have time today. We had a very big interview with Technicals. If you missed it, go back to the VOD. Check it out. It's awesome. But so we'll just get into a little bit of just more esports news. And it's not bad news. So at least that's something to be happy about. The Capcom Pro Tour season finale is coming up. CPT has had another great season. I can't believe it's a finale, but it's here. It's the season finale, so it's not the end of the entire tour. Just for this season, they're heading into the end of this season of their tour,
It's
and
the
they're
end of the
gonna
2021 season.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is going to have, instead of having a traditional tournament for their season finale, and of course things have been delayed because of COVID. They're going to have an exhibition that is going to showcase talent from all of the regions that competed during the 2021 season. And I think that's pretty fair. COVID is still causing problems for the CPT. And because of that, they decided to do a no neutral 5v5 and then have 3 days of exhibitions featuring, like I said, some of the top players from all of the regions that competed. Punk will be there, Idom will be there, Phenom will be there, Rob TV, Travis Styles, Panda. I mean, I could go on and on. There's going to be the players you want to see there, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be people who qualified. It's still an exhibition match. What do you guys feel about this finale for CPT being an exhibition rather than being a traditional tournament?
I think, you know, just like most things we have to preface with, given everything going on in the world, I get it. Especially for somebody like Capcom and Street Fighter, they've made some very big plays this year. And I guess, more so last year than this year, like from a background standpoint in business. But, you know, they pretty much set the template for where fighting games are going to go culturally. Everything that they do, whether they're like the first ones to say we're going to do things back in person, or we'll be at EVO, we'll be at CEO, just whatever the case may be, like they lay the foundation and people kind of follow suit. Other communities might not want to admit it. Other communities might not even know they are following the suit that they've laid, but it's what's happening. And I think for something like this, I get it. It's gonna suck a little bit, because the best thing about grassroots esports is that it needs to happen in person. Like that's what gets the electrifying, matches. That's what gets the blood boiling. But I guess we just have to be home. We just have to be home
So,
for a little while longer.
reading this image graphic that they gave us here, it's like there's a South Africa match, there's an Australian match, there's like Asia
Yeah.
Southeast. Are these just two players in the regions that are going to have an exhibition match?
Basically, yeah, they invited the top 2 players from each region.
So to answer your question, I think this is lame. Like,
Yeah.
I prefer watching an actual Street Fighter 5 tournament. And it also highlights that, good God, Street Fighter 6 better have good netcode, because we can't do this shit again. Like,
Yeah.
this is not going to fly. This is like, a wet fart of a finale for a season. You know, like
Yeah, I
I,
couldn't agree more. I mean, it's just it just comes down to just being underwhelming. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like this isn't something that makes me give a shit. Like, am I gonna cancel plans I have to watch this? No, I'm not.
and
You
they're
know what I
dragging
mean?
it out over 3 days.
Yeah,
Like
that's
who's got
insane.
time for this?
So it's interesting, like, and I feel like these events, just the esports in general, because there was like a Halo event that took place this past weekend that went like
Hmm.
16 teams invited, went 3 days. You could have finished that in two. Like, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
understand what this need for, like, oh, it has to be Friday, Saturday, championship Sunday, or whatever Sunday. Like, we
and
can
also
get
like,
shit done faster.
what was Halo thinking going up against the
The
Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, yeah, like it's just
Like,
like
who the hell's gonna watch the
that's like when
finals?
Rocket League did their finals during like the international 2 years in a row or some shit like that. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't click. Like
Doesn't make sense.
you should be able to schedule and have common sense to maximize your viewership a little bit better.
yeah, I
I just
saw
don't
that.
get it.
I saw that HCS this weekend, and I actually enjoy watching HCS, but there was
Mhm.
no way in hell I was gonna watch it on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, and that was like top six left. Like, it wasn't even just the
And it
final. Like,
started before the Super Bowl happened and it was still going afterwards. So
yeah,
like I don't know what happened there, but that's just that's just bad planning if you ask me.
I completely agree. These 3-day things, I think that Summit does a good job of this because they like break it up with interesting content in
Right.
between, or they like, here's a crew battle, here's like something different. This is like, it's just a series of exhibition matches in Street Fighter V, which is already an old ass game. Like, if there's not a huge amount of money on the line, I'm not as interested. But man, in-person Street Fighter V at Evo is still amazing. So I don't want to dog the esport. It's more just this implementation is obviously a half step, and that's
Yeah.
just it's not going to fly. I
The
think a lot
format
of
is
the
not
fans
gonna
aren't going
work.
to watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like for the last, potentially what could be the last major season finale for Street Fighter V, they could have done better. They should have done better. The game deserved better, but maybe the game didn't deserve better. I mean, it came out in a terrible state. It took
Yeah.
them a long time to get it, to where the community was even accepting of it. Maybe this wet fart of an exhibition is what the game deserves.
I guess, but man, I still go back to what I said. Like, even in its poor launch state, it was still a fun in-person esport
Yeah.
to watch. It was still compelling content. I don't think this will be, is really what I'm getting at. Is I just this is, unless you're like really a fan of one of these players, maybe you'll tune into that set, but you're not gonna watch all 3 days of this.
No,
think-
you'll guaranteed there will be the players who have an online following. They'll get their fans to tune in for their set.
Yeah,
You'll
there you
probably
go.
see numbers. I'm actually curious to see the viewership peak up and down
Yeah.
for certain sets
Yeah,
on
like,
this.
I'll definitely watch Punk versus Idom or watch the VOD
Yeah.
of it, and I'll watch Daigo, but like that's about it. Like, I'm not gonna like go out of my way to watch Oswald in Asia Southeast.
Yeah.
No offense to Oswald, maybe a
Yeah.
baller, but like I don't know who they are, and that's something where if I was just watching a tournament and Oswald was up next on bracket, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's the difference from a viewer perspective. That yeah, this is not gonna go over well, and it sucks because this I imagine this has a lot to do with travel restrictions,
Yes.
making it almost impossible for Street Fighter V to hold a proper offline right now, which sucks. Like, I would love to see that.
I get
Yeah.
the reasons behind it, but like the solution doesn't make it any less a little lame or underwhelming.
No, not
Yeah,
at
That's
all.
just reality.
And yeah, I hope they get their act together before Evo, because they are a huge part of Evo.
Well, I think that's going to do it for our Wide World of Esports episode on this Monday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here for Wide World of Esports. But don't go anywhere, because we're going to talk a little sauce. We always got to talk a little sauce before we end the show. And today, the only topic I saw in Sauce Talk was about Jack in the Box's loaded tiny tacos. I mean, is this the news that we want to be talking about? Is this the sauce talk that we want to be talking about? Are you guys hyped for Jack in the
Okay,
Box
I'm
loaded tiny
very hyped.
tacos?
I am a
I'm gonna go
look.
first because I gotta get going. I'm gonna go
Okay.
first. 'Cause I gotta get going. But let me tell you something. Jack in Jack in the Box. If you're somebody who does, take in the occasional ganja, like myself, like Ashif there, like Rod.
Hey,
Might
hey,
be,
hey, hey.
I
Wow,
don't know if
you
you
really
guys
put
actually
Rod
do.
on blast there.
I don't know if you guys actually do. I just don't want to be alone in this talking point. You will know right now, Jack in the Box. Really, what I've noticed about Jack in the Box,
It's
they
stoner
don't
food.
miss. They don't miss when it comes to like the market that they're clearly catering to, right? Now, Ashley,
Stoners.
I don't know if you have Jack in the Box over there. I know you praise Swenson's and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have Jack in the Box over there, but Jack just provides just that, right? I'm hungry. I got the munchies. I just want to smash some good shit. And even if it's not good shit, the state that you usually visit a Jack in the Box at, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. So if you ask me, tiny little, like when you get stoned enough, you just see tiny little things floating around. Why not make them tacos? Why not make them editable? Why not make them for an affordable price point? Jack in the Box just gets it, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I might be going out on a limb when I say this, but I think
No,
they
I think Jack in the Box got shut down in Ohio because of like E.
damn.
coli or something. But when it was here, yeah, it was legit. Back when I lived in Texas, I lived like 2 minutes from one, and you better believe at like 2:30 in the morning, that was the spot. That was the place to be.
Yes,
And
sir.
you can get. I think they still sell tacos for like cheaper than Taco Bell. They
They
like
do very cheap. Yeah, like 99 cents.
the one of the Jack burgers is still one of the most affordable things. So like for me, like I talk smack about the quality of food at a fast food place, but when the price is right, I don't. And Jack in the Box is priced for perfection. Like that is the price.
'Cause you know what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. So you're never like, oh, I'm surprised that this meat wasn't high quality. It's like, no, of course it isn't. But I have to agree with you, man. It is like maybe one of the ultimate stoner foods. It is like their marketing is great and they experiment in the space. And I think this is going to be a hit. I really do. I think this is like it's one of those things where I was like, you know what? Little tacos? Like little crunch. Oh. We got the assistant manager of McDonald's here to tell us why we're wrong.
You're not wrong. Okay. First of all, Jack in the Box is fire. I had Jack in the Box for the first time in San Francisco in like 2009. I was like, you know what, Dad? I think we're on to something here. The breakfast is amazing. All right. The breakfast is, I mean, maybe I'm just a breakfast connoisseur. I also like Wendy's breakfast. I know we've talked about that a few times, but Jack in the Box breakfast is really good. Everything else that I've gotten from there has pretty much hit the mark. And this is like, because I don't even smoke weed very often. I smoke weed very, like maybe a few times out the year. Even so, sober, stoner, whatever or not, the food is phenomenal. Yeah, I'm sold. Don't let the McDonald's have food. I just work here. I'm gonna tell everybody that comes through the drive-through, just go to Jack in the Box.
No, I think most times I would rather eat Jack over McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
I would agree.
I say shit like that just to get Chris to laugh.
I
Oh,
worked
yeah,
at a McDonald's that
I've
was right
never
across
been
the
to
street from a Jack in the
but it
Box
seems
for a little while.
absolutely delightful.
And yeah, their line was way more popular than ours
I think
late at
this
night.
may be a more West Coast thing.
It does. Like I said, we used to have one here in town, but it got shut down because of health reasons.
I've heard that they just deep fry the entire taco. Like screw it, just the whole thing goes in there, and that's why it's so good.
That's what I hope too. It's like actually like the consistency of their fries, but it's an actual taco. That would be
Why
heaven.
waste the time splitting the taco and dipping meat into it and all that stuff when you could just fry the whole thing?
Yeah.
Does Jack in the Box have any competitors? Like, and I'm not talking even from like a franchise standpoint, even from like a cultural, like how we compare In-N-Out and Whataburger, McDonald's, Burger King. Like, they don't have that, do they? They're pretty much like
I would say
own.
Wendy's maybe is the
standalone.
closest thing,
No,
but they are pretty
because Wendy's isn't
standalone.
like they're not really
yeah,
like
they don't have like this.
stoner food like that.
Yeah,
you
they
know
don't
what I
have.
mean?
They don't do those late night menu kind
get
of
a
thing.
feel-
Yeah,
I
they're
get
2
the,
a.m. gang.
I get the Rally's Checkers feel from this a little bit. That's another place
Yeah.
I
Okay.
absolutely love.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I could
Rallies and
love
Checkers
that.
is
Yeah.
legit. I would
could
say
love
that Carl's Jr. is kind
Or
of like
Hardee's.
Yeah, to an
Hardee's,
extent,
Carl's
yeah, because they
Jr..
stay open late too. They have you can get like tacos and stuff from them too. Or
That's a place that I end up at
yeah.
2:30 in the morning when I'm out in Cali,
Yeah.
and you get a burger that you're just ashamed of the next day. Like
you'll
that's
see,
the
like,
only difference. It's like Carl's is a little pricier in my opinion.
100%
But
is.
Yeah.
they both experiment in that unhealthy stoner food that
Yeah,
you would like.
but Jack will put a burger with a freaking hash brown and nacho cheese on that shit.
Yep.
And give you a munchie meal anytime after 9 or 10 o'clock. That's why Jack in the Box is just They're just sitting
Yep.
up there at the top. There's a
Carl's
couple
Jr.
people
took
flirting around
their
them, though.
veggie burgers off of their menu. Their recent Beyond Meat burgers, they're gone now. You can't
It was
get them
beyond
anymore.
trash. I had
Yes.
it before.
Yeah,
It was
That's how
Chicken
committed. That's how committed they
starfish.
are
You
into
can't make a
serving
burger
you
with beans. Who the
stuff
fuck
that's not
said
good
that
for
it
you.
was?
Ah, the chicken stars. Thank you for bringing up chicken stars, Chris.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm all for more tacos. So these loaded tiny tacos, I approve. I think I was the one that threw it in our Discord.
Yeah.
To get this conversation going, and yeah, I agree with you. Jack in the Box has been there for me at late nights after a party. Obviously, designated drivers involved and stuff, but yeah, it's good stuff. It's good
I
stuff.
want to
Subway
give you my
guys, the truth.
deliberation on Jack in the Box tacos.
Uh-oh.
Jack in the Box tiny tacos, they're absolutely fine. They're totally fine. Nothing, no problem.
Has anyone had these yet?
Jack in the Box, yeah, I have had them actually. Jack in the Box regular tacos, that ain't no taco. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they just come with
I cannot
the
deal
pack
with it. It has
sometimes.
It has a
Yeah.
slice of American cheese on there. And I cannot deal with that.
I agree with that. It
Taco
just,
shit,
Order
Brian.
with no
Taco
cheese.
shit.
I agree with that.
They're really bad tacos, but
They
man,
are
are they cheap.
terrible.
They're basically taquitos, but they are
Right.
cheap.
Like I said, you know what you're getting when you go there. Like that's
I know
what I'm
people.
saying.
I lived in Phoenix for a long time, and I know people who swear by Jack in the Box tacos. They would get like
That's a little
6 or
strange for
8 of
Phoenix.
them. Yeah,
You'll never hear me. You'll never hear me swear by
no,
anything on the Jack in the Box menu. It's
No.
more that, hey, I was starving, nothing else was open, and this actually wasn't bad. That's my review of Jack in the Box most of the time.
I'd bet that the tacos at Jack in the Box are 90% more likely to be warm when you're handed them than the ones you get at Taco Bell.
Actually, you might be onto something there.
Yeah, made to order, probably. Yeah.
Well, just, above refrigerator temperature. That's why I can't go to Taco Bell. Every time they hand you something, it's just like, how long has that been sitting there?
Yeah, I always
a
feared that
fair
my
question.
burrito or something was on the floor, or maybe it was like the door stop before they, bagged it up or some shit.
I just want to point out, you can say no cheese, and then you don't have that embarrassing.
but then you
American
don't have
cheese.
cheese on your taco, and it's
Yeah,
supposed
that's
to.
fair. Okay, fine. Take the slice out,
Shred
tear
it
it up,
yourself.
make your own shredded. Yeah, there you go. You gotta
To
be
go
a little
back
more
to Carl's-
industrious, man. You can't
The,
just sit here
the
and
true
complain.
secret of life is right here. The sawmill gravy, Big Country breakfast burrito.
Oh yeah,
They give
Hardee's.
you the seasoned taters, the gravy, the eggs, the bacon. It's just
That's why I brought up Carl's. I feel like those
the
two
breakfast,
things,
the biscuits there.
Yeah.
They're just next level.
they're BFFs when it comes to like late at night, stoner craving, or you're drunk and you need something to put in your belly.
They
Both
should
of them-
actually be charged with a crime for not offering their breakfast after 10 o'clock in the morning because it's better than their regular food.
It
Didn't
is.
McDonald's reverse on
Mc-
that too? They stopped
McDonald's
offering
was
breakfast.
cool for about a year and then they stopped.
They
Most
reversed
McDonald's
their
serve breakfast till like 2 o'clock now.
It used to
Well,
be
that must be a
24 hours.
fantasy McDonald's that doesn't exist.
Some of them
anymore.
are 24 hours, but not
yeah,
most of them.
I feel like a lot of them aren't anymore.
We had it right before the pandemic. It was right
Yep.
there. It was McDonald's breakfast whenever we wanted. And they took it away.
COVID took it away.
Son of a bitch, COVID.
Yeah,
They just blame
COVID.
COVID. I'm sure they don't mind not having to serve it all day.
Yeah, I mean it's an inventory issue, but yeah.
Exactly.
All right, boys, I gotta run. But
Okay.
I'll tell you what, in honor of you guys, I'm gonna take myself to Jack in the Box tonight. Make some poor
Go get
make
those
some-
loaded tiny tacos.
Make
Yeah,
some
I'll-
poor
I would love to
decisions.
hear-
After your tryst.
After my what did it say?
After your tryst.
I don't know. What does that mean?
That's an
What's the
old. That's an
tryst?
old person word.
It's an old person way of, you know what I'm saying.
Valentine's Day activities.
Oh yeah, I'm about to go tryst the shit out of this chick. All right, I'll see you guys later.
Your special February 14th boo.
Yeah.
That's a Valentine's Day
PE,
message for
ladies
you.
and gentlemen. The legend.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up Sauce Talk. EE's exit kind of sealed it for us. There's no more to cover on that. He's going to try out the loaded tiny tacos. We'll get his report. But until then, let's talk about some Shacknews Cortex for a little bit. Can we? Can we talk about some Shacknews Cortex? Shacknews
guess.
Cortex is your way of participating in the gamification of Shacknews. We have a Cortex Carnage report going up every day that reports who has won the most Shack points, who has won Shack News for the day. We do for the week, the year, or the month, the year. We award the Shack News winner for any length of time that is deemed worthy. And today, of course, we're talking about 8 Mikey winning Shacknews for the week of February 16th through the 13th, or February 6th through the 13th. Congratulations, 8 Mikey. You done it again. You have a lot of pets on Shack Pets. You have all the pets on Shack Pets, and you get a lot of points.
This week, 8 Mikey put up 413,905 points.
Yeah.
410,310 points of that was from Shack Pets. He got some points from winning Shacknews, so it kind of is a virtuous cycle. When you win Shacknews, you get 500 points, and then that adds to your weekly total.
He read some articles too.
I want to point out, though, Morgan Shaver, our newest Shacknews staff member, was 3rd place this week, so shout out to them.
Oh, is that? I was actually going to ask about the other people on the Carnage Report, because we don't just highlight the winner. We also highlight some notable members of the community. And yes, I didn't realize that Winged Husser was Morgan Shaver, our newest staff member. Awesome. Well, look at that.
And also 1PR.
Yes,
was
1PR has. Yes, I noticed that. Yes, 1PR. Thank you, 1PR Studio, for signing up for Shack Pets.
Yep, 1PR has a corgi at their office that's pretty famous. So shout out to 1PR Studio for having a pet squad that they added to our app. It's really neat to see this balance of, I have access to the back end, the moderation tools. I see how many new users we have who literally created accounts to use Shack Pets versus old Shackers who've been around forever. And yeah, it's a really interesting balance. It's infused a lot of new people into our community. I can tell you, Dusty, who won last week, I think a couple of days or one day.
Yeah, 6th place this week.
He didn't even know that the Carnage Report existed, even though there's a link in the app for it and everything. But now he's obsessed with it. So
trying to get up there.
People are learning about how Cortex works and how Shack Pets ties into it. There's a ton of updates coming, probably next month, because our front-end developer is on paternity leave. He had a baby.
Hey, congrats to your
congrats.
developer.
Yeah, shout out to Ming Ho. They had a baby with their family, and our developers are cool and give a month off for paternity leave. So yeah, shout out. But yeah, we aren't going to be pushing many updates between now and then. But when we do have an update, it will be rather massive because we've been working on it for over a month now. So we're kind of probably going to time it for around when Lola's birthday is next month.
Hey.
So, yeah, I think that'd be a good time for an update. But yeah, it's been going pretty great. Love seeing people uploading pets. The latest pets feed is cool. If you're not someone who has a pet, you can just go there and check them out. If you don't have a pet, you can still vote. So there's a lot of ways to use the app that go beyond just being someone who uploads pictures. I think it's important to note. But yeah, Cortex still popping off. We had some people in the top 20 who didn't use Shack Pets at all. So I think that the balance is kind of being restored with some of the limitations we placed on issuing challenges and stuff. I think they are working. I think anyone can beat 8 Mikey. It's just a matter of uploading enough pictures to do so.
Yeah.
And he has uploaded more than anyone else at this point. So
I also want to give a quick shout out to Week in Geek in chat, our own Blake Morse, for getting 2nd place for the week. Very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we had a strong contingent of Shack staff in the top 5 this week.
Yeah, in the top 10 even.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
G-Burk's fallen off. Let's just be honest.
G-Burk.
He came out hard. He came out hard when Shack Pets launched, but he's fallen off. Maybe his pets just aren't that cute. It's hard to say.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've seen cuter.
Yeah, right? Like my dog.
Yep. Yeah, well, I believe that is our Shacknews Cortex Carnage Report.
Yeah, and just in case people were wondering, Mad Dog did win the chatty for the week. We are doing that, where we break out the chatty winner on the Carnage Report. So that's pretty key. But yeah, we're gonna need a whale to beat 8 Mikey. Right now, I've done all I can from a limitation standpoint. I don't want to.
Ethical to keep a whale as a pet, dude.
I'm talking about 8 Mikey as a whale.
I
So
thought
it's
you
like a
wanted us to
whale.
beat him via Shack Pets with a whale.
Our whale? No, we need a whale, like another whale. Like
I
Abe
might
Mikey
could
is
get
a
like
whale.
a small bottlenose in my pool out back, but even then, I'm not sure the pH is right.
Well, you can try. Is all
Yeah,
I'm getting at.
that's all that
But
matters.
yeah, the dude has 15 animals in his pack, so it's a lot. I think I'd have to go look at the stats, but he's probably approaching 100 images on the platform. So he can do 1,000 challenges per day, for instance, if you have 1,000 images or 100 images. So yeah, that's the challenge that we're dealing with right now. But we're still waiting to hit our 1,000th image upload. Hopefully sometime this month. So if you are someone out there that hasn't signed up, do it. And if you are signed up, log back in and do the thing. If not, Lola's gonna come to your house and she's gonna look at you disapprovingly.
No, you don't
She
want
might
that.
even bite.
Nah, she isn't.
Just not a biter.
She will lick you
Okay.
and then tilt her head. But that head tilt, it's a head tilt of disapproving.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
That is. I'd rather be bitten.
Well, that's gonna wrap up.
That's something for your Valentine to handle, Rod.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That's gonna wrap up our Cortex Winner of the Week Shack Pet Showdown report, and that's gonna wrap up the show for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on another Wide World of Electronic Sports, another Sauce Talk, another Cortex Winner of the Week, all of it. Thank you so much to Technicals for being here and joining us for an awesome interview, answering our questions, and just being an all-around genuinely great guy.
Yeah, and thank you to all the new followers. I saw that we got a lot of new followers during that interview.
Yeah.
I hope maybe down the road when there's something more to talk to Technicals about, we can have him back on. I think it was a great conversation. I think there's probably more to discuss in the future with that individual. So yeah, really appreciate Technicals for taking the time out, and shout out to anyone who came to the stream. I see Apu in the chat. I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, there's a I hope we keep doing this thing with the with getting guests on. But yeah, Technicals was, I would say, a big get for today.
Absolutely was. Well, thank you so much again. I've been Bryan Lefler, contributing editor for Shacknews, with Krabs Gerard, our Chris Gerard. You might know him as Krabs, our technical director. Thank you so much, Chris,
I've got
for
him.
holding things down.
Wait,
And then, of course, well,
What'd
you
you
can
say,
upload the.
Chris?
You can. He says he's got them. You can upload those to Shack Pets Krabs, but only if they're like the
No, there's this
the saltwater
technology.
kind.
It's built in the app. I can't get around for some reason. Every
Oh,
time I
man.
upload the pics, it says something about hot dog, and we're trying.
I spent
Only
a
you,
lot of
Chris.
time debugging our AI algorithm that we use to prevent illicit images from being uploaded, and yeah, it's not perfect, but it definitely prevents whatever the hell Chris is trying to do.
I'd say that's working. And thank you so much,
Yeah.
Rodney Conyers Jr. for being here. As always, my friend and co-host. Couldn't do the show without you.
Hey, man, I'm just happy to be back every Monday, man. It's the highlight of my day.
Hell yeah.
I would say thank you to Phil, the phenomenal Visu, for being here, but he's not here. He went off to do something
He's in
else,
the
and he went to the
drive-thru at
Super Bowl
Jack in the Box.
yesterday. So you know what, Phil? Have fun with whatever you're doing.
He's probably with some like cabal of Twitch streamers doing some blood ritual right now, so
I imagine so.
shout out.
And thank you, Asif, our benefactor, the man with the briefcase, the Army of Techno. I appreciate you being here and helping us with the Technicals interview. And yeah, just
Yeah,
your
look,
insight every week is always appreciated.
Look, I helped create this show. I helped create electronic sports. You know, not esports, but electronic sports.
Mm-hmm.
We created it 4 years ago at E3, and yeah, I'll stop by from time to time. But I prefer you guys running shit because I think you guys have a good grasp on what's going on here. You guys kind of taking ownership of the show. But yeah, when Rod and I were chatting a couple weeks ago, he was like, "Hey, who should we get on here?" And I was like, "Technicals." And then that tweet popped off with Technicals when we put it out there to the community. And I think we're the right place to have this conversation because we are a journalistic endeavor here at Shacknews, and we're able to look at both sides of a story. We're kind of able to look at things objectively, but at the same time, we were at the center of a lot of the topics that he covers. So we knew firsthand not what had happened, but the people involved. So it was interesting to get to talk to Technicals about that today. And yeah, I look forward to where his content goes in the future. I think he's a content creator that people should pay attention to, even if they don't agree with him.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. So yeah, thank you again, everybody. Stay tuned for Steve Tendo. Steve Tominski will be on soon with the original Metroid on NES. It's going to be a fun time. I purchased that for him to play, actually.
Did you know that Steve Tominski has beaten the hardest Super Mario Maker 2 level I've ever uploaded? Not once, but twice.
I do know that, and I know to my shame I have not beaten it yet.
Yeah. So he's better at video games than everyone else on staff.
Technically, he's a better Marioer than I am, that's for sure.
And Mario's one of the most important games, so he's
Yeah.
better at video games than all
Steve
of them.
Tominski, you're better at video games than I am.
Stop making it.
Is that what
Yeah.
you want? Is that what you want?
That's what I
Are you
want.
happy?
I am happy.
All right. Well,
I'm
yes,
happy.
make sure you stay tuned for Steve Tendo. He's coming up soon, I believe, at 6 o'clock Pacific.
I hear he's great at video games.
I hear he's pretty good at them too, except for when he rewinds on his show. But anyways, we got to get out of here. Make sure you follow the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Kick us a sub. We would love to see it. Thank you for all the support, everybody. Until next week.
Skate Course 64 versus Steve Tendo. It's like Nintendo versus Nintendo. There.
I've kicked around a Steve versus Skate Course show. The idea has been in the background, and it's not something I've let go of yet. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Smell a Shacklemania battle brewing?
I do.
God, that would be outstanding.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's get out of here.
Yep, let's get out of here.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in. And yes, if you followed, we stream a lot. This isn't the only show we stream every week. This is just one of the best ones. But yeah, there is stuff coming up every day of this week. We're still covering some earnings reports. I think NVIDIA is on Wednesday. So we're going to have a conference call then. But yeah, good stuff coming down the pipe. So thanks.
All right.
Thanks to you guys for organizing today. And yeah, I look forward to not being on next week so I can just watch.
Awesome. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you. Bye-bye now.
Bye, Cleveland.